dill dill, another sound get killed. Duck a dill dill dill. Sign on the will. Duck a dill dill dill, another sound get killed. Duck a dill dill dill. Sign on the will. Them one tie, them one tie. Come at them funeral and them no say, I know say. Soundplex is a general. Them one tie, them one tie. Cha, come at them funeral and I know say, them no say. Soundplex is a general. Hear me limb by limb, we a go cut them down. Send pretty oxa. Take out them tongue. Hear me limb by limb, we a go cut them down. Send pretty oxa. Take out them tongue when they say we.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Dennis Sterling, man. I want to go ahead and begin to discuss this Fani Willis case. For you guys who don't know, today there's a hearing going on where Fani Willis's paramour, her boyfriend, is testifying at a hearing where he's been asked questions about the nature of their relationship. I find it very interesting. Initially, the first person up was Fani Willis's former employee and friend. And this lady basically testified that, my God, her relationship with Mr. Wade started well before she got hired, before she hired him. And so if that's the case, the implications are that she lied on her affidavit and he lied on his affidavit when he said the relationship didn't start beforehand. And so in a situation like that, you're looking at perjury, you're looking at, possible criminal sanctions. You lied to the court, you may lose your job. So this is a big, high stakes sort of situation. As you guys know, I predicted this would happen some years back. You don't just pick on people who have power and money and think they're just going to roll over. District attorneys and other government workers, those prosecutors, they are often used to having people who are underfunded, who don't have the money to fight back. Here you're literally dealing with multimillionaires with pop money who, go to the country club. They all go to the same place. And so the situation is, you're getting some fight back. And so they're digging up dirt on Fani Willis. Whether you support Trump or not, the lesson here to be learned is you really shouldn't pick fights with folks that don't throw rocks if you live in a glass house. And so they are just basically exposing this relationship. So initially the friend testified that they were in a relationship. This Mr. Wade came along and said, yeah, we were in a relationship, but it didn't start until 2021. My wife and she cheated on me back in 2015. And so because she cheated on me back in 2015, we basically been living separate and apart, not as husband and wife. Our marriage was basically over at that point. What that does is it points the finger at the wife for being a cheater, not him. On top of that, he's basically saying I wasn't married. I wasn't in a marriage. I was just separated, and we were waiting until our children went to college. And the day after our last child went to college, that's when we initiated the divorce. And so this is what we're looking at here. But anyway, what we're going to do is shout out to everybody in the chat room. Big shout out to Mr. 43TX. You guys check in as you come in. I'm going to go ahead and turn the volume up. Y'all let me know, and I'll give you a play-by-play as to what's going on. Okay? Hit the number 1 button if you can hear what's on the screen. Okay. You guys say you can't hear the sound? Can you not hear the sound? Let me see if I can fix this. Let me see if I can fix this sound. Hold on a minute. So what's going on right now is give me a-
do that, but it's your discretion.
Ms. Cross?
Your Honor, this question on the stand now for several hours and asked been asked and answered very personal questions. We cover the issues. Mr. Sadon is making argument in this property.
Can you guys hear?
Later to the court and not a question to the counsel.
So as I see it, the only relevance these interrogatories have to this case really whatsoever would be as either prior inconsistent or consistent statements. And to that end, I think the question has been put to him again and again and again. He's answered how he believes he felt his answer should be and why he answered a certain way. And as it goes to credibility, I think at this point we're arguing weight, and I don't really see the value in pushing this
Let
issue.
me know if you guys can hear it. Can y'all
Just
hear
for the
that?
record, the case that I was going to refer to is State versus Wakefield at 324 Georgia Appeal 587. And specifically, let's see, it would be 590, in which they talk about this specific privilege. This is a 2013 case. And then they footnote to footnote 3. And
How's it sound? Let me know.
3 says,
You guys can
"There are
you guys
times
hear
when the
this?
reality
This is
of
going
evidence
live.
outweighs the testimonial privilege." And it goes and explains what that is.
This is
That's what
live,
I'm
so
I see what you're saying.
let me know
We
if you
could
guys can hear
say
them in the
that
background.
You need to answer the question regardless
Okay.
of the privilege you
I'm
assert.
gonna go
At this
mute.
point, though, I
Let
think
me
we
know if
covered
you can hear.
background and we're ready to move on.
Okay. Based on that, I have nothing else. Thank you.
Okay, Mr. McCulloch, anything on behalf of Mr. Floyd? Moving through defense counsel.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, I'm looking behind you. Mr. McCulloch, on behalf of Mr. Floyd, he's elbowing you, sir. Okay. Mr. Cromwell. All right, Ms. Cross.
Mr. Wade, have you still got exhibit number 14 in front of you?
So
The one with all of the-
this is the attorney for
All right. So you were asked, Mr. Wade, about a couple.
This
of
is
the
her attorney,
invoice
his
items.
attorney.
And your testimony, I think, was that the percentage of income post special counsel appointment in November 2021, the percentage of your income roughly after that time was about 50-50 Fulton versus other income from your law practice, correct?
Roughly, yes, ma'am.
Sometimes more, sometimes less.
Yes, ma'am.
How about your time? I'm interested in the percentage of your time from November 2021 to, let's say, the close of the special purpose grand jury when it was dissolved in January 2023. Can you estimate for us the percentage of your time that was spent on Fulton County work versus other work?
Oh, gosh. 99.1. 99% of the time here in this building working on this case.
All right. It was, as I understood your testimony, it was an intense period in terms of hours while that special purpose grand jury was meeting, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And who was head or manager of the election integrity case during that time for the district attorney's office?
I was.
You were coordinating the efforts?
Yes, ma'am.
And those efforts included not just the proceedings that were happening in this building, correct?
That's correct.
We don't need to go all through it, but is your representation that 99.9% of the time, let's restrict it to 2022, 99% of your professional working time was devoted to this case?
Yes, ma'am.
And the remainder, whatever it was to some of your other cases that were ongoing?
Yes, ma'am.
2022, I want to focus on that a little bit.
All right. So the reason they're bringing up,
Affidavits, do you have those in front of you as well?
hold on a minute. So the reason they're bringing up,
The financial affidavit.
the reason they're bringing up how much time he spent working on this case is they're trying to justify the fact that he got $600,000 between him and his partners. And so, you know, he's basically saying 99% of my time was spent working here. Now, I've done the math before, and basically that's conceivable. It meant he probably worked about 25 hours a week for the past 2.5 years or so. And so because of that, it justifies the amount of money. Now, most lawyers don't make a consistent amount of money like that. Typically, you're not able to build a client for 25 hours a week in private practice. So this is what they're trying to do. Let's keep listening to what he has to say. And y'all make sure y'all hit the number 1 button. Let me know y'all up in here.
No, we need to, but 2022, the structure of your firm changed. Is that correct?
That's correct.
In the early part of 2022, there were 3 of you. You and Mr. Campbell and Mr. Bradley, you split expenses. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you profit shared among yourselves, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
If anybody has any questions about this case, put it in the super chat. I'll answer whatever questions I can about this.
Change. Yes, ma'am.
So now you have 2 people bringing in income, correct?
Correct.
And one of those people, you, is spending almost all of your time devoted to this election integrity case, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And your income from this election integrity case is less than what it was the year before.
Yes, ma'am.
We talked about the monthly caps. We didn't talk about it. There was talk about the monthly cap that was included in your contracts, indicating there was a certain threshold that you could reach, number of hours a month, and over that amount, you were not going to be compensated, correct?
That's correct.
All right. And you kind of smile when you said that. That's a little bittersweet there, isn't it?
That's bitter.
Exhibit 14, is that still there in front of you?
It is.
I want you to take a look, please. That's a collection of exhibits that includes all of your invoices as was represented. I want you to take a look at invoice number 9.
Yes, ma'am.
Is that there in front of you?
I have it.
4, because your cap had been reached.
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to take up, and what did you do in those circumstances? When the hours that you worked per month were more than the cap that was in your contract that you were permitted to be paid for?
I was forced to lose that time. I didn't get paid for it.
Okay. And that's what exhibit number 9 shows?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And in exhibit number 9, you've got a task, hours that were completed, and you just didn't bill for it. You noted the time and then a 0 beside it because you didn't bill the county for that time.
Yes, ma'am.
All right. What about exhibit number, invoice number 13? Can you flip to that for me?
I have it.
Is that a similar situation?
Yes, ma'am, it is.
And what is it on invoice number 13?
This invoice makes me cry. There's so many hours here that I worked that I couldn't get paid for. So,
And you work those hours anyway, Mr. Wade?
Oh, absolutely. This is not the type of job that you could walk away from just because you're not getting paid for it. I think there's some professional rules of responsibility to an attorney who's engaged in a case. You have to see.
So basically, his lawyer is going over the fact that he did all this work, and you know, some hours a lot of hours he wasn't compensated for, so he was just basically working for free. I don't know what this is about. I think this is probably more for the public. The judge doesn't necessarily need to hear this. You know, this is not pertaining to whether or not they should be disqualified. Remember, the whole point of this exercise is to determine whether or not he should be disqualified, whether Fani should be disqualified, whether she used her position as district attorney of Fulton County to appoint her lover so that she could then receive benefits in the form of kickbacks. Now, the way he was able to get around that, he basically said that, booked the trips, but she reimbursed me. So in effect, what he's saying is, yeah, I paid for myself. She didn't reap any benefit. And the reason she didn't, I'm sorry, y'all, I got an intruder up here that demands attention. So this is Buddy. What's up? Say what up, Buddy. Buddy is enjoying himself up here, even though I'm trying to work, but nevertheless. So back to the conversation. So that's basically he's saying, she paid me back. She believed in 50-50. He literally went on here and said she's a strong, independent woman and she does not believe in letting some man pay her way. I mean, hell, this is when the boss chick mentality comes in handy. Let's keep listening though.
Mr. Wade?
Every one of them.
Every one of them. You were asked a lot of questions about our line number 34. Can you turn to that for me, please? It's on page 4 of that affidavit.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you read it out loud for me, please?
The district attorney and I are both financially independent professionals.
Mm-hmm.
Expenses for personal travel were roughly divided equally between us. At times, I have made and purchased travel for District Attorney Willis and myself from my personal funds. At other times, District Attorney Willis has made and purchased travel for she and I from her personal funds. Examples of District Attorney Willis is purchasing plane tickets for she and I with her personal funds for our personal travel are attached.
Funds, Mr. Wade. As you understand the term funds, does that include cash?
Yes.
Does that include credit?
Yes.
Does that include reimbursement?
Somebody type slick in the chat room.
You didn't represent in your affidavit, Mr. Wade, that you were including all of the receipts from funds or travel expenses that were paid on your behalf by District Attorney Willis, correct?
That's correct.
You had, I think your conversation with Ms. Merchant was you produced the receipt that you had.
Yes, ma'am.
Are you aware of any other receipts? Well, I may ask it this way. May I put you on the
Oh man, slick. So basically, she's being aggressive. His own lawyer's being aggressive. You didn't include that in your response. No, it wasn't specific. It just said funds. And in doing so, he's not saying that he paid for everything. He's saying she paid me back. It could have been cash. It could have been credit card, whatever.
You may not
Let's keep
have had
listening.
the receipts on hand when you filled out the affidavit because they weren't in your possession. Are you aware now that there are receipts and that it reflects that the district attorney? I've got a copy. Do you remember, Mr. Wade, approximately how much? And that's again, do you remember how much the flight was for you, your flight to Belize?
Belize.
And if you don't, I'm not tendering it for you, I'm just asking you to take a look at that and see if that refreshes your recollection as to the amount that plane ticket cost that was extended by
Yeah.
district attorney.
For you all who are just catching up, my man testified earlier this morning that Fani Willis basically says she's strong, independent, she can pay her own way.
It does. Thank you.
Approximately how much was the amount of the ticket that District Attorney Willis purchased for your travel to
$887.
She bought my ticket. It was my birthday. That's what he said. It's my birthday. She paid my way. Oh my goodness. Another thing he said, they used to do little getaway trips.
I'm tendering it, Your Honor, but I will leave it with the court reporter for.
They used to ride. He was saying they would ride up to Tennessee to get away, rent a little lodge or something like that, a little cabin, and get their little, they little freak-a-leak on and come on back. They would do the same thing in Alabama. This is all over his credit cards and stuff. And she would do that to get away because she's so high profile.
And consistent with your affidavit, was that the personal relationship, I think we called it dating today as well, the personal or dating relationship between you and the district attorney began sometime in early 2022, March, I think was your testimony. Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. And that March date isn't included in the affidavit. The affidavit is less specific, but that was your testimony today.
Yes, ma'am.
Shout out to Deacon
And that
Salty
there was
Balls.
no
Thank you so
personal
much for the
or
cash
dating
out.
relationship prior to that time, right?
None.
Mr. Wade, I'm sorry. I'm going to direct your attention to 2020. In 2020, were you dating the district attorney?
No,
No.
2020, that was during the COVID pandemic, correct?
it was.
Was there a situation for you, Mr. Wade, that made you particularly vulnerable during the COVID period?
Yes, ma'am. And in 2020, and a portion of 21, I was battling cancer.
Oh, Lord.
And that prevented me from pretty much leaving environments that aren't sterile. And I had health on my mind.
You were particularly
Health on my mind.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you dating anyone in 2020?
No, ma'am.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Wade. That's all I have.
So basically what you
Sergeant, recross on those points only.
What you just saw is him saying it would have been impossible for me to be dating Miss Willis because I had cancer.
And you said
I couldn't even get no sex was not on my mind.
Well,
Let's keep listening.
I did say that, but what we're talking about is because now at this point, the splitting of the financial obligations in the firm now there are two people carrying the weight of three. So that would scale back on the amount of income, right? Amount of profit.
Well, you're splitting the profits 50-50 though, instead of 1/3, correct?
The profits, yes.
Okay. So, but you did testify that you're making significantly less now. We heard about it for a few minutes. Significantly less now that you work for Fulton County, right?
Yes.
Okay. Would you agree with me that $236,000 is more than $184,000?
What?
Would you agree with me that $262,000 is more than $236,000?
Let me tell you something. This woman who's answering the questions for Donald Trump, she's a horrible lawyer.
Three-way partner with Wade and Campbell and Bradley, and now a two-way partner with Campbell. All of your corporate tax returns are filed in the law firm of Nathan Wade, though, correct?
My returns, yes, ma'am.
Yes, for your law firm.
Well, for my law firm, because I also have personal returns.
Right, and I'm not talking about your personal returns. I'm talking about your business returns.
Yeah, but the question contemplates that my bring home money is more or less. So I want to be clear that is reflected in my personal returns.
I didn't ask you anything about bring home money, though. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
What I'm talking about is your question was the portion of my testimony dealing with earning significantly less money.
No, my question is I'll just break it down. During 2019, you filed your business returns. I'm not talking about your personal, your business returns.
See, this Donald Trump, this is Donald Trump's lawyer, and she's not very good at asking questions, and she's frustrated because she clearly doesn't have a lot of trial experience.
Even though you said you were partners with Bradley and Campbell, later on, you filed your business returns, not with them, but as a solo practitioner, correct?
I see where we're going. There's a different return for that Wade, Bradley, Campbell entity.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not asking about that. What I'm asking about is during the years 2019, 2020, 2021, and 2022, you filed a business return for the law firm of Nathan Wade.
Yes, ma'am.
And in 2019, you said that the law firm of Nathan Wade made $184,000, correct?
No, I don't know.
Does that sound familiar? Does that sound about like what you made in 2019 and reported on your taxes as a business law firm?
If that's what's on the return, yes, ma'am, you're right.
Okay, and I'm happy I can bring those up. I've got one copy. I'm not putting on native tax returns, but
Another thing, she's talking too fast.
thank you. So in 2019, gross profit for the law firm of Nathan Wade is $184,000, correct?
Let's see.
Y'all get the likes up, man. Hit the number one button, man. Come on, man. What exactly did you do with your penis? Did you hit it from the back? That's basically what this hearing is about. Did you smack it once or twice on each side? Did you warm it up? We need to know because this is relevant for the taxpayers. The taxpayers want to know what you're doing. Praise God.
Your gross profit was $236,000, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And then in 2022, you filed as a solo practitioner, Nathan Wade, and your gross income was $262,000, correct?
I know she talking fast. Somebody said, did she take a Red Bull? I know, right? Woo.
But nowhere in these documents do you document that you received cash payments from Ms. Willis, correct?
I don't. I hadn't looked through them. I would be surprised if there were something in there that said that.
Do you want to look through them?
Listen to the answer. I'd be shocked if there was something in there that said that I received some cash from Miss Willis.
Okay. But there is itemized expenditures for travel in here. You did itemize that.
I didn't itemize anything. My
Your accountant itemized it.
I hope so.
But you're responsible for your taxes, even if your accountant files them, right?
I agree.
And so you itemized your expenses for travel on all these documents, but you did not itemize, you didn't put anything in there about you being reimbursed for half of that travel.
Well, those are business returns.
Yes, you used your business
I
card to pay for the travel, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't put a personal expense
Right.
on a business return.
But you
Somebody,
used a business
she
card to
clueless. Somebody
pay for
type clueless in the chat room.
I use a
personal travel.
I use a business card to pay for everything, and what I do
Right.
is turn over the statement to the accountant.
And he separates
The
business from
accountant
personal.
Says, okay, this expense, that's personal. We'll put that over here. This expense, that's business. We'll put that over here.
Right. You don't have,
Reconcile it.
yeah.
So you wouldn't find a reimbursement from Miss Willis on a business return,
Okay, so they're not anywhere there.
nor
No.
would you find. Well, go ahead.
No, I'm just asking. So there's nowhere for any of that cash to be reconciled there, right?
On the business returns, no, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
We talked a lot about the financial affidavits. I know the state asked you a couple questions about them. You filed one in
So
2022. In that one, you said you
she's,
only had
so
$5,000.
he came in earlier and testified that their whole point was to try to say that Fani Willis has been getting kickbacks from him because he received this big, overwhelming amount of money, $600,000, and in return, she did that because that's her lover, and she knew he was going to be spending vacation money. She was going to win because she was going to get vacations with him, and he was going to pay for it. And now he came in and messed all that up because he said, "This my strong, independent woman went 50-50 with me." Somebody type 50-50. Apparently, Fani Willis is a 50-50 type chick. Somebody type boss chick in the chat room. Somebody type boss babe in the chat room. She believe in going 50-50 with her man. And on top of that, even if he put it on his card, she would then give him the cash reimbursement for that. So how do you prove the cash? Well, I'm looking on you didn't claim it on your taxes. Well, I wouldn't claim that on my business taxes. This is a personal expense. It would go on my personal taxes. So it's like, damn. So this district attorney, this lawyer for Trump didn't do her
When it was
homework.
asked, you said you didn't want to disclose where the cash was.
No.
Privacy reasons.
No, well, I said that if I were to store cash in my home, then why would I share that with the world, is what I
Right.
said. I didn't say that I had some cash stored up in some place, because that's not the truth.
And you've talked a lot about this. I split with a third, I split with half. From the check you received from Fulton County, July 15th, 2022. So all the way back for July 2022, not a single check that you've received from Fulton County has gone into a joint banking account. Every single check has gone into your own personal banking account, correct?
All of them, with the exception of the checks that were going into the WBC firm, went into my business bank account, which is solely in my name.
Hey, big shout out to Take Heed to the message. Thank you so much, sister. Thank you for the super sticker. I appreciate you. First person to contribute to the Cash App and Super Chat. Big shout out to you. And y'all check her out on Instagram. Let's get back to it.
I think the question right before that only needed a yes or no.
So no, ma'am. The checks were deposited into firm accounts, law firm accounts.
Trust account.
Nathan Wade PC.
Yes, ma'am.
As a solo practitioner.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so they were not deposited into accounts with Campbell or Bradley.
No, ma'am. They were
Okay.
not.
Thank you.
However, there were checks written to Campbell.
Hey, what's up, sister? How you doing? Thank you so much. I appreciate you, and I
And we've tried to
appreciate
get
your
those
strong
bank
message
records,
that you're
but you
giving
objected
those
to those, correct?
lovely ladies.
You've tried to get what bank records?
We subpoenaed bank records and you've objected to all of those, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to object to the relevance.
What's
It's
the relevance
relevant
to
if you're
that?
saying he has all these records, but yet we've tried to get them and he's trying to keep them from us.
It's not your job. It's not his job to prove your case.
If he's there's law that says you can make an inference if some documents are within the party's control and they won't provide them, that there's an inference that they're not positive.
Ms. Gross.
Your Honor, there was no obligation for Mr. Wade.
Lord Jesus.
Evidence that Ms. Merchant couldn't.
Can't get it. If you can't get it within the confounds of the law, baby, you can't get it.
All right, I'll sustain that. Ms. Merchant, let's.
So basically, this clown right here, this clown right here.
Bradley, so that he can testify.
I am not willing to waive attorney-client privilege.
Ha ha.
Only on questions, the health questions that were asked. And I can ask you from here for the reversion. I don't want to get into the type of cancer. I want to get into.
So he just keep throwing curveballs. I had cancer. I've been paying her in cash. They don't know what to do.
2020.
Yes, sir.
Somebody type 3-piece suit in the chat room.
Because of that, in 2020, you kept yourself in a sterile environment.
I tried. Yes, sir.
Now, what about 2021?
2021, just focusing on my health, trying to get back to myself.
You remember I asked you some questions about Hapeville
Yes, sir.
and the condo,
Yes, sir.
and you indicated that prior to November 1st of 2021, you had spent time at the condo, the Hapeville condo,
Yes, sir.
with Miss Willis, right?
Yes, sir.
And with someone else? You said Miss Yearty?
Miss Shirley, yes, sir.
Okay, so you were not concerned, that was not a sterile environment, was it?
Are you inferring that Miss Yurdy and D.A. Willis is not sterile? Of course it's a sterile environment.
You saying they dirty?
But don't you remember then I followed up?
What you saying? You saying the,
Might you have been to show your cell phone records from Hapeville and you said.
you saying these black women are not sterile, sir? How racist.
Environment, though, the airport.
I'm done. I'm done with him.
Okay, what about restaurants? Not a sterile environment, right?
They are not.
And the Porsche, you said something about a Porsche what?
The Porsche experience.
That doesn't sound very sterile to me. Is that a sterile environment?
You're inside your vehicle.
Does you mingle with others?
You can.
Yeah. And you
Man, shout out to International Quiet Storm. Thank you so much, bro.
That's what you testified to, correct?
Yes, sir.
So there's no reason why you couldn't be dating in 2021, is there?
You mean 2020?
We were in the middle of,
I said 2021.
that was a horrible question.
Dating? No.
No reason.
No reason.
Thanks.
My God.
All right, Mr. Gillen.
Somebody type pivot in the chat room. Somebody type pivot. Look. Ain't no reason I couldn't been dating, motherfucker. I'm in my Porsche. It's sterile in my Porsche. You trying to say my gals ain't sterile? What you trying to say, player?
There was no dating, no personal relationship prior to early 22. Is that correct?
Help me understand. I want to make sure I answer you. So let's be clear.
Let's be clear.
2022 is the start of any intimate sexual relationship with a district attorney.
Okay, and that's what I was.
After
Okay.
he was already hired.
Your affidavit used the term.
So him getting hired had nothing to do
Today you used the term dating. And your testimony today is that includes.
with his relationship with the woman. That's what he's trying to prove.
Physical or sexual or intimate relationship, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And there was nothing, according to your testimony, there was none of that prior to early 22.
That is correct.
That's all I've got to do.
Oh my goodness.
All right, not seeing anyone else. Ms.
Oh.
Ross, any redirect? All right, Ms. Merchant, can this witness be excused?
Oh Lord, I'm out of. Oh Lord, Jesus. Woo, so basically, district the attorney for one of the Trump defendants asked the question of, he said, "Hey, yeah, I'm out. You in a sterile environment, but you had these two women hanging out with you. So what are you trying to say? You trying to say District Attorney Fani Willis ain't
There
sterile?"
wasn't an inference made that I was somehow evading service of a subpoena.
We can take that up. I don't think we need to have it on the record this year. Understood, though.
Thank you.
All right, Ms. Merchant.
Oh,
any other
man.
witnesses?
Yes. we would call
Okay. So
All right, Ms. Cross.
Your Honor, I am going to adapt and remove to the motion to quash district attorneys. There's been now also testimony from Mr. Wade. I don't believe that there's need for the district attorney to testify as well. For all of the.
All right, Ms. Merchant, what do you think you can establish and?
okay, so now we got to let's see what we got. Look at your girl.
And let me stop there.
conflict in the evidence, Judge. Now that how Mr. Wade has testified, there's a conflict in multiple different issues. The first one is the reimbursement issue, cash. That opens the door in and of itself. He as well as testifying.
Well, what's the conflict there?
That he testified that he didn't have receipts, but we don't know if Ms. Willis.
Oh,
So that's one issue.
So we don't know.
shout out to J Row 49.
We don't
Right.
know. Right?
Okay,
We don't
so it's a
know.
question, not a conflict.
Why would you have receipts if you gave somebody cash?
Reasons, the first one would be the receipts.
Come on, man.
Whether or not these cash payments, if there's any payment receipts, the Belize trip, whether or not she paid for the entire thing in cash. Mr. Wade doesn't have knowledge of that.
It was
A
just,
lot of things he couldn't remember, so now it goes to Ms. Willis, unfortunately. That he testified that she insists on paying her own way.
so the fight now is they trying to get DA Fani Willis on the stand so they can cross-examine her and hopefully get her to say something inconsistent so they can have a reason to impeach her and then also basically call her a liar and get her dismissed from the case
Could be.
and possibly disbarred with a whole lot of other stuff.
Very vague about that.
So this is the fight. This is to try to get they want to convince this judge that we still need to get Fani Willis on the stand.
Began to become romantic in 22, I think. So that is a conflict in and of itself. Right there, that's a big conflict. We've also got more receipts. But the biggest thing about the conflict is when the relationship started. He said he
What's the
called Ms.
conflict?
Willis in the conference room after we filed our motion. He specifically didn't use the term cash in the affidavit, but he told anybody who would ask about the cash. And he specifically discussed this and the response. We have a right to go over this.
All right, so you've highlighted the areas you'd like to go into.
Right. Why?
The central question may be, what is it other than, I'm just really curious what you say you have to put on the record. And so that's what you have to put on the record. And so that's what I'd like to go through. Ms. Cross?
I think you've identified, Ms. Merchant hasn't itemized inconsistencies for you. She's identified areas of inquiry.
Right.
The testimony in the record from Mr. Wade is not inconsistent, it's unrebutted.
Yeah, it's unrebutted. So here's what you guys got to understand. This is not a jury trial. The person is going to figure out who's right and wrong is the judge.
The testimony of Mr. Wade and
The judge is going to figure out who's right and wrong. I don't need to hear all this stuff to figure out what I already think of this case. See?
Again, I know the court's read all the pleadings. It really is such a compelling need, is the language of the case law.
Shout out to Vince Perdue.
To call opposing counsel, given the record that's now before the court, I don't believe it's.
Your Honor, Mr. Gordon, very briefly, Ms. Willis needs to testify.
Oh.
Her best friend or good friend has directly contradicted the declaration that was made by Mr.
Now that's the woman from earlier. I'm going to show y'all that in a minute.
And it wasn't just the declaration of Mr. Wade, it was filed by the district attorney by and through her assistants. She owns that. And so that affidavit is owned by her, and there are deep concerns that that affidavit is false. And that Ms. Willis knew it was false. And that she needs to come in here if she wants to tell us about the cash. First time we've heard about the cash. Oh yeah, we got cash.
They mad about that.
Don't have any deposit slips, don't have any record of it. Maybe Miss Willis can say, here, all my records where I paid $10,000 in cash back to Mr. Wade. We need to know that. Also,
No, you don't.
Miss Willis's financial disclosure. Let's not forget that. We're talking about two people who went to extraordinary lengths to hide their relationship.
No, they didn't. That's why everybody know about the damn relationship. Clearly, everybody
The
knew.
district attorney needs to take a stand, and she needs to tell this court and this courtroom why she filed financial disclosures in 2022.
Shout out to Bill Gibbs.
identifying, prohibited sources, which Mr. Wade clearly is a prohibited source. Did you get gifts and benefits? Now, we've seen all this. We've seen the trips. We've seen all of the things that.
We want to know where his penis was on this particular day. Now, she said she gave him $10,000. We want to know where the money went and whether they was in Tennessee, Alabama, or Belize. Okay, Judge, the question we need to answer. We need to get that black gal up here and ask her these questions so we can finish doing what we trying to do. We trying to win a campaign here.
From a prohibited source.
Praise God.
Cries out for her testimony.
It cries out.
Get up here and say, why didn't you tell on the disclosure?
Why didn't you tell her
the nature of the relationship?
the nature of the relationship?
And the public official, in this case, the district.
You two black people are having sex, and we want to know about it.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars for his firm and him.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars.
The answer is, oh, it's unrebutted. He's explained it's all in cash.
Yes.
Let her get up and let's, and obviously, we are advocates in our position, but that cash does not
The
pass
cash,
the smell test or the straight face test.
we want to know where the money went.
She filed this motion.
Does she get wet
We've seen
before you get in, or do you got to do a little work to get in there?
2 or 3 more sentences.
Hallelujah.
We need to have the full picture as we.
Cause my great granddaddy owned slaves, and I might be part darky myself. Okay,
And then some
and I know
changes.
about that.
Her financial declarations, same problem. We need
That's Fani. That's Fani right there. Okay, hallelujah.
We would ask the court that the court.
That's a superstar. Come on in, baby. Welcome. Come on in. Have a seat. Have a seat.
Just a moment, Ms. Willis. So, Ms. Cross, I don't know if you want to speak with Ms. Willis now. It's sounding like maybe they're withdrawing the objection to the motion,
I believe the motion to,
or does Ms. Willis want to take the lead here?
we'll withdraw the motion to quash Ms. Willis.
Based on the.
Okay, so the position of the district attorney at this point is that she's no longer contesting the subpoena. Ms. Mershon is the next witness.
It's about to get real. Shout out to Big Knox. I can barely hear the video, but keep cooking. There go hot girl Fani. She on the stands, baby. She ready.
Documents in front of me, and there are the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant.
We want to know what you've been doing, girl. Here we go. Here we go. Dum 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 dum.
Does anyone have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant? Does the court have the 3 filings of Ms. Merchant?
When you said the filings, you mean like the pleadings?
Pleadings, yes, Your Honor.
Okay, I think we could locate those for you in the supplemental.
Well, somebody say boss chick in the chat room.
The one filed immediately after we filed ours, and the final one.
If you want to take a break to get them, I can make a copy. I think we have one.
You know, the only copy I have is going to have my notes on it. So if we don't have a clean copy,
Have a 5-minute break, John.
Let's
I'll get
take-
the document.
Need a 5-minute break. Oh, well, yeah. Woo, woo, praise God. Woo, it's about to get real. They're going to take a 5-minute break, so we're going to take a 5-minute break. Y'all get the likes up, baby. We having a party in the law up here. Call me Law Daddy. Somebody type Law Daddy in the chat room. Somebody type law daddy in the chat back in 5 minutes. Y'all hit the #1 button.
Looking at myself as I would see myself in the future. Looking up at my father, looking at his face and seeing my face.
People are so inclined to believe that black men are deadbeat fathers.
The else you need?
I'm the black boogeyman villain that just came on. Something going wrong, I'm the one you put the blame on. Community is up, shame on me. Deadbeat daddy put the blame on me.
Black men actually enable the very thing that they hate.
So by now, everybody has heard about the CDC research that was done, that black men are going around using that as their safe place to prove to everybody that they are excellent fathers and they are the most involved fathers of any other demographic.
Shut your ass up.
Shut your ass up.
You put the game on me when I'm the best father. All the pain I see telling me to try harder. Broke in them dusty, no deodorant or musty. I'm the fall guy for the race when you getting busted. Stand up and be a man when your women want the role, want the leadership, the money, run the household, be as naked as a child, and I'm supposed to smile. You the reason why the neighborhood kids running wild. Karma comes around, baby, keep your cookie. Matter of fact, I'm on a flight, you can pass that shit to Pookie. Chicago back to Houston, New York we deemed as useless. Baby, I'm in DR, and mommy serve me juices. Every movie needs a bad guy, why not be the black guy? Shit, you can hang it on me. You need a scapegoat, point aside and take no shit. You know they gonna blame it on me. When you need a reason and the ladies commit treason, all you gotta do is blame it on me. Your daddies and your uncles and your nephews, that's amongst us, watch the whole world blame it on me. You to blame for this crisis, you to blame for this ISIS. Paper saver got creators favored. Who you think gon' die for being righteous? Who gon' vote for the oppressor? Me. Who pay most to get the lesser? You handing out all of the treasures, the immigrants getting the blessings. Who you think rapping is real? Want my opinion about this kill? I'm not Arab, homie, how did this feel? Cause I'm not living off in this real. My opinion, no matter, we get a deal. No reparation, just meal. I'm only speaking about what we feel. Keep talking that talk, I need a refill. Every movie needs a bad guy, why not be the black guy? Shit, you need a scapegoat, pointers out to take no shit. You know they gonna blame it on me. When you need a reason and you ladies commit treason, all you gotta do is blame it on me. Your daddies and your uncles and your nephews, that's amongst us, watch the whole world blame it on me. Every movie needs a bad guy, why not be the black guy? You can blame it on me. When you need a scapegoat, point aside and take notes. No, they gonna blame it on me.
Fathers are underappreciated. Those of you guys who don't know, my name is Dennis Sperlin, also known as Uncle D, affectionately by the young fellas out there. And of course, the Blizzard King. Nevertheless, what should I say? I'm an attorney, I'm a podcaster, and I'm also, my favorite title is that of father. But I'm going to take the opportunity today to really talk to you guys about fatherhood.
Black man hit me up being like, yo, I can't wait to be a dad. I can't wait to be a father. And I feel like I owe those young men to tell them, like, bro, this is hard. Because it exposes things about you that you don't know about yourself. It exposes all of your insecurities. And it's a huge emotional undertaking. Right, when you see this and me playing with my baby and it looks really cool and you want to have those moments, just know that that's the upside. It comes with a downside and it can be incredibly painful. So before you take on a family, bro, go see somebody about your past and go see somebody about the trauma that you've endured throughout the course of your life and start healing. Because if you don't heal from that, you'll have all this and you'll never be happy. Especially anybody who thinks that you can just pour water over a lady and a baby and have a happy family overnight. This ain't oatmeal, man.
King. Gotta watch your back, even family that's amongst you. Got a slut ass auntie and a cool ass uncle. Kinda won't front you, but let you ride the whip around the block like a stunts. Don't do a lot of bumping. When your mama call when her ex-man jumping, all you see is feet and her ex-man stumping. That's my Uncle D, that's why the Blizzard King coming. Hot girl winter, Blizzard King summer. My we's a coming. No singing and no humming, talking we shall overcome it. Got him leaking, I'm the plumber. My nigga made Zoom look cool, yeah, you funny. What else Uncle D gotta prove more money? Overlook the tunes, if gotta shun him. Brotherhood over any woman. Cause if she play her role, then she fam, then she good. When we say brother, my sister, we mean the hood. Now homie pop the trunk, it's been reeking just like a skunk. We can serve your knowledge and dish it just how you want. He just run his mouth and that bullshit we debunk. In a sunken place, he's sinking that sunk. He don't even drinking, I tell you that drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. He don't even drinking, I tell you that drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. Brand good, suit and tie, lawyer reppin' manhood. He don't tap dance, he overstand, he playing good. Titles don't get it, most of us getting ambushed. Mayonnaise, clam bush, buck broken, man tush. Woke up in the morning, got walk, that's on my mind. Peace can only come when you're low and order divine. Hey, I stay entwined, you keep a criminal mind. How you think I shine and stay from falling behind? He got open eyes and can't see it, he blind. You nice all the time, they tell you water is wine. Slaughter all your sons and leave your daughters behind. All she wanna do is flash that big behind. The music is the garbage they use to take you down. You used to rap intelligent, now you rapping like clowns. My prerogative, you thinking like Bobby Brown. Rest in peace to Whitney, Christina, that's underground. Wake up years later, you've been around. Water up to your neck and watching him as you drown. How you scoring touchdown again and you out of bounds? All the black men getting passports out of town. Homie pop the trunk, it's been reeking just like a skunk. We can serve your knowledge or dish it just how you want. He just run his mouth and that shit we debunk. In the sunken place, he singing that good song. He don't even drink and I tell you that the drunk. My nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. He don't even drink and I tell you that the drunk. Nephew told me I wanna be just like my uncle. My Uncle D, 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 favorite uncle, Uncle D, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, favorite uncle, my Uncle D, my Uncle D, my favorite uncle, Blizzard King, Uncle D, Uncle D, Uncle D, Uncle D, my favorite uncle, what? Uncle D, my favorite uncle, my Uncle D. My Uncle D, yeah, Uncle D.
All right, welcome back to the broadcast. What's up, what's up, what's up, what's up? So we are eavesdropping into this very interesting hearing about Fani Willis and what she and Wade was doing on their off time. And it's about money, it's about sex, it's about a whole big mess. And so basically testified. And y'all let me know if you can hear me. Make sure y'all can hear me clearly. It's about to come back on. Let me know if you can hear me clearly, fam. I'm having some technical difficulty over here. I'm on this bootleg internet. But let's go ahead and we don't want to miss any of this. Yeah, so if y'all have any questions, feel free to ask me. I mean, this is very... Bottom line is this: Fani Willis, they initially were going to determine whether or not she was going to have to testify. It was about a hearing. The judge was going to let Fani Willis testify. You see what I'm saying? And so, so now we'll see what happens. We'll see what's going on, man. Let me fix my collar. I had to sit down and get ready for this. So what Fani Willis has to directly refute is what somebody who she says was her friend or some lady who used to work in the district attorney's office who's known her since 2019. This lady came in earlier and testified that, and let me see if I can pull that up. She came in earlier and testified that Fani Willis has started a relationship with Nathan Wade way back in 2019, okay? Which means what? That means that their relationship started well before that. Piece him up with that $600,000 so that he can go kick it back to her. But you know, that's what the best friend is saying, and that's what the defense is relying on. The defense is relying on that testimony, not the defense. The Trump, well, when I say defense, I'm talking about the Trump people. And so there actually would be, you know, the movers in this motion. It's their motion. So I'm gonna try and see if I can get back. I can't really get way back to that. They cut it off on me. I'm on Associated Press. And so it's a hot mess. It is truly a hot mess. They might as well just put these people's private parts up for inspection. You know, all live births, what they do, how they get down. It's really a mess. But remember, like the old saying goes, if you shoot for the aim for the king, don't miss. And that's basically what Fani Willis did. She just thought it was a good idea to try the president of the United States, former president, and some of his homies. And it didn't really work out that way. They thought it was gonna work out. Y'all get the likes up. Anybody have any questions? Let me know. Anybody have any questions? Yeah. We back anyway. Had a little poor connection going on. So, you know, just somebody said, "What poor red state are you streaming from?" Texas, baby. You ain't know. But I bet I got better communications they do in New York. Y'all going through that snowstorm right now, man. California, all of y'all internet is going to migrants. So whatever. Anyway, y'all hit the number one button, and my people are telling me they're back. Let's go ahead and finish this commentary. Let's see what they're talking about now. Okay, let's see if they back on the air right now. Hit the number one button. Yeah, you say they messing with my stream. Nah, man, it ain't. Other way, we'll just run it bootleg style. I'll just broadcast it straight on the screen. Let me see what we can do here. Okay, here she go. Let's get Fani up here. Let's get Fani. Hold on. We are hot. She live. Lord Jesus. Y'all hit the number one button, man. It look like the screen is frozen. I don't know what kind of hot mess is going on. Y'all hit the number one button. Let me know if you can hear me. Let me see here. Boom, bada bing. Hold up. Boom.
Some of the lies they were told.
Okay.
And being printed in the media because I told you what happened. I read the motion. I am sure I told him what my opinion of it is. And past that, we had no substantive conversation.
You did not.
Is there something you didn't understand?
No,
Can
I
y'all
just
hear
want to make
that?
sure that you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the
All
motion.
right, next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office within this week, you produced some financial document that financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure who's giving it to him, by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he should a document in a conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He's sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? You know, things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Okay. Let's start back in 2019.
Okay,
So you and Mr. Wade met in October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct, at that conference, which I find to be extreme.
Ooh. She said, you said I slept with him at the conference. Ooh, it's messy. It's coming up in a minute. This is tight, man. Y'all hit the number 1 button if you can hear me, baby. Go ahead, hit the number 1 button. Let me get let this sound keep going. Hit the number 1 button if you can hear me.
Extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside.
It's messy, boy. I'm telling you. Ooh, it's messy. It's messy. I'm trying to get this screen up as fast as I can. See, this is my pride. I'm tripping over here, getting carried away. Let's see if we can get it. Y'all let me know if you can hear it when it comes up. Damn. Can y'all hear it? Somebody said no sound in the video. Hold on. Ooh, she fired up, baby. I wish y'all could hear this shit. I know y'all let y'all jobs and whatnot. Let me put it back on. Ooh, she is fired up. Don't worry, you ain't gonna miss nothing. You ain't gonna miss nothing, baby. I'm gonna make sure you hear everything. If I can get it going on. So basically, she's saying I am upset at the fact that you all would say that I slept with this man on the first date. Okay. That's basically what's going on. Let's keep listening. Having a horrible time over here. Let me know if you can hear it. I'm gonna put it on the
college. She was from the DC area. She would come home, we'd party together. Wasn't close, but she was certainly in the girlfriends that partied together. And then, like I said, I ran into her about 10 years ago in Atlanta, Georgia. But we didn't talk throughout that time period. I didn't see her. I didn't even know where she was. When I ran into her, I was surprised she was in Atlanta. And so, yes, I have known her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her? 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as, have you been friends with her?
And people did stories and they verified information. You had this great reporting, but it seems today that a lawyer writes a lie and then it's printed for all of the world to see.
Well, I just want to make sure that you answer the question I asked, though. So my question was,
Overruled, Mr. Abadi.
I told you what happened. I read the
Does it sound good?
I am sure I told you what my opinion of it is. And past that, we had no substantive conversation. No. Is there something you didn't understand?
no, I just wanted to make sure that you did not have a meeting with him in the conference room to discuss the motion.
Next question,
No.
Ms. Merchant.
So in the conference room of my office, within this week, you produced some financial document. That financial document was given to me, something, and I'm not even sure who's given it to him by me or Mr. Abadi gave it to me. And I think he showed me a document in our conference room. But as far as a substantive conversation, I don't believe I've had any conversation with him that is substantive related to this.
Okay.
I have had conversations with him since you filed the motion, but they wouldn't be substantive to this. He's sent me very nice sermons that have been done. And so we've had conversations about, did you listen to that sermon? You know, things of that nature. And I would say they were in relationship to this because I think he did it to be kind.
Okay. Let's start back in 2009. In October 2019 at a conference?
That is correct. I think in one of your motions you tried to implicate I slept with him at that conference, which I find to be extremely offensive. I stayed at that conference. Mr. Wade was my teacher. I did not meet him when he taught the class. I was standing outside talking to Lisa Reeves, who is a judge. Me and her were just having a conversation. Mr. Wade walks up and they hug each other. They have some brief conversation. She introduces us.
I'm going to object. We kind of thought
So-
we asked the question, we didn't answer the question.
Clearly, we got beef. Somebody write beef in the chat room.
I agree. I'm able to explain my answers.
And that's
Ms. Merchant, that's okay. I can handle it. Ms. Willis, I'll ask you to just listen to the answer, excuse me, the question, and get the answers combined to the question as best you can. I think you'll have more than enough ample opportunity on when the state is able to.
Somebody type beef in the chat room.
And it's highly offensive when they try to implicate that you slept with somebody the first day you met with them, and I take exception to it.
All right, well, Ms.
Somebody
Merchant,
type first date.
the opportunity to explain all of that when it's the state's turn to ask more open-ended questions. Ms. Merchant.
Thank you, Judge. So again, my question was, you all met at that conference, though, right?
We did the meeting. He, as I stated, he taught the class. I did not actually meet him when he taught the class. I walked out of the class, and I'm not sure if it was that exact class or we had went to lunch, but we were standing in the vestibule, like outside of the class. Me and Judge Reeves were having a conversation. She had worked at a law firm I worked at back in 1996.
We're getting way afar. I mean, I don't mind her explaining.
I'm answering the question.
Just asked if they met at that conference.
Somebody type filibuster in the chat room. She filibustering. Answer the question, Fanny.
Ms. Merchant, if you want more concise answers, perhaps you could lead the witness.
Right. Answer better.
Isn't it true that you met Mr.
Make
Wade
better
in
questions.
October 2019 at the judges conference?
I think we
And
have.
I'm very much want to be here, so I'm not a hostile witness. I very much want to be
Not
here.
so much that you're hostile, Miss Willis, it'd be an adverse witness. Your interests are opposed to Miss Merchant's.
Thank you.
Somebody said no sound. Y'all can't hear this? Turn your volume up.
Democracy, Your Honor, not to mine.
Hit the number 1 button if you can hear this hot mess.
Just ask that
We
we.
can keep things moving. Miss Merchant,
Thank you.
next question,
Thank you.
please.
Okay, so we've confirmed when you met. After that, isn't it true?
No, I need to explain this, and I think I get to explain my answers. When I met him, Judge Reeves introduced us. He handed me his business card. I'm unsure if I handed him my business card, but we exchanged information. He said, if you ever need any help, give me a call. And he walked to the parking lot.
There it is.
So after that, you started dating shortly thereafter, correct?
That's a lie. That's one.
Ooh, that's a lie. Somebody type that's a lie in the chat room.
I know her as Robin Bryant. I knew her. So
A lie.
She did not go to my college. She went to the college of. I went to Howard University. She went to Morgan State. I met her through some people I knew. In college, we hung out a bit. Not much because she was in Baltimore and I was in Washington, D.C. But we hung out a bit.
BMO. Somebody type BMO in the chat room.
I probably didn't see Robin again until maybe 7 or 8 years ago, a chance meeting here in Atlanta, but we did not have a consistent relationship from when I left college and came to Emory Law School here in Atlanta. But 8 to 10 years ago, just by happenstance, I ran into her.
So
she was in Atlanta.
You have been friends with Robin for.
She ain't scared. That's for damn sure. Let me say that. She ain't scared.
And I'm asking if you've been friends with her for 30-something years.
I've known her for 30-something years. We certainly
So-
hung out and partied together in college. She was from the.
Let me just interject. Basically, the witness came in earlier and said we was good friends, good friends, and she tell me all her business. And she said she was messing with Wade way back in 2019. And so this lawyer is trying to establish the fact that they were good friends. And Fanny's like, I didn't know that bitch. I don't know that bitch like that. We just hung out a little bit. We partied together. We was party friends. That's basically what's being said.
Yes, I
Let's
have
keep
known
going.
her probably since 1990, 1991, but we have not maintained a consistent relationship that whole time.
For the last 10 years or 5, whatever you'd like to classify it as. Have you been friends with her?
I have not spoken to Robin in over a year. I certainly do not consider her a friend now. I think that
Somebody type not a friend.
You know,
Not a friend in the chat room.
goes unpunished, and I think that she betrayed our friendship.
She,
Let's narrow it down.
the friend.
So my questions are going to be from the time period of 2019 until she no longer was employed for you. The last time you all talked. So all of my next questions are just focused on that time frame. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Up until she left your office.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody type not my friend in the chat room.
We're friends, correct?
Yes, we knew each other in 2019.
During 2020, you all were friends, correct?
We were friends during that time period.
During 2021, you all were friends, correct?
Yes.
Okay. And such good friends that when you needed a place to stay, you asked her if you could take over her lease.
That's a lie.
That's a lie.
Her apartment?
That's a lie from hell.
It is wrong.
I asked if you could take over her lease.
I did not ask if I could take over her lease.
Did you move into her apartment?
I moved into her condo in April of 21. The circumstances around that were that Robin met her husband.
Oh.
They wanted to move into another and separate place.
Oh.
She wanted to get rid of her condo. My father was living with me at the house. Because of this case and because of my stance on gangs, my life was being threatened regularly.
Oh.
My father urged me to leave our home. At the same time, as luck would have it, Robin wanted to give up her lease because she wanted to move in with this new man she met, who eventually became her husband. And so, as life circumstances worked, my dad was begging me to leave the house. He was afraid for me, afraid for his grandchildren. She wanted someone to take over her lease so that she didn't, have to pay a fee or get abandoned. And so, I don't remember when, but probably March or April of 21, I moved in and take over her lease.
And did you pay her or did you pay the leasing agent?
No, I don't even know who the leasing agent was. I paid her.
You paid her. Did you pay her cash or did you use the card?
There were some times that I would give her cash, but mostly I paid her via Cash App. That would be the most convenient thing.
Cash out.
Not only give her her rent, but then like when the utilities would come in, whatever the utility was, she might be like, I need $70, I need $100, whatever it was. And we never had a problem with money. Whatever she told me it was, I never asked to see a bill. I never questioned her. I just gave it to her.
What percentage would you say you paid cash versus cash out?
Oh, the vast majority was cash.
Mhm.
I don't know what percentage. I'm not gonna guess that. But the vast majority was cash out. But there would be times she would say, you know, this bill came in at $70. Here goes $70.
Did you have a monthly rent amount that you paid her?
I can't remember. It was $1,500. I can't remember what it was, and it would vary, which I don't understand to this day. But like I said, I never questioned her.
When did you move out?
She said it was. That's what I paid.
When did you
I
move out?
abruptly moved out in February, either late January or early February of 22.
Of 22.
Yes,
February 2022. Is that what you said?
January, February of 22. I believe it is January, but
Y'all get the likes up, man. Hit the #1 button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.
February of 22 is what I remember. And because I was offering to pay the whole rent, even though I didn't live there, I didn't think it was right. And I ended up just paying her half the rent.
So that's after you moved out. You said you paid her half the rent. Okay.
Is the volume better if I do this?
You said you had to move out of your house because you were scared. Did your dad stay there at your house?
My father was concerned. Yes, we were both concerned.
Okay, but he remained there.
My father's 80 years old. He would have been 79. He was scared to death of COVID. You have to go back to when this was. My father's an older man. I wanted him to move out. We had some discussions about him moving out, and what he decided was the risk of COVID was more dangerous than the risk of the people that were threatening. Typical man, more worried about his daughter and his grandchildren than his own safety. You'll get to meet him and you'll understand he doesn't scare too easily.
So your grandkids or his grandkids were living at the house as well at that time?
Well, I don't know how old your children are, but when you have adult children, they leave and they come back. They leave and they come back.
Oh, they leave and they come back.
It's periods of time that they're there, they come, they do whatever they want to do. Children do what children do. As long as their mother has a house, they'll come to it. Unfortunately, now the threats because of this case have gotten so extreme. I just pay a mortgage and no one lives there.
And that's what I was going to ask you. So when you moved out in, I think you said April 2021, you left your dad and your 2 kids at the house?
My dad and my 2 kids were not at the house.
They were not. Okay, so they didn't still live at your house.
My youngest daughter certainly did not live there.
Lean
My
into it.
oldest daughter would come back and forth. I can't say month for month when she was there or when she was not there. I know that she has been there post me moving out. At this time, no one is at my house.
So at some point after you moved out for the safety reasons, at least one of your children did come back.
Merchant, can we get to either?
I don't even know what this goddamn lawyer is trying to prove at this goddamn point.
So
that's what the judge is at. What are you trying to prove?
2021. So you were still friends with Miss Yeardy then. Were you also friends with Mr. Bradley?
I've never been friends with Mr. Bradley.
You've never been friends with Mr. Bradley?
No, I don't consider us to be friends. I don't dislike Mr. Bradley, but I don't consider us to be friends.
Is he someone that you would have in your phone and you would message with?
I might have text messaged him.
Okay. Would you text message him and Mr. Wade on the same conversations?
I don't recall doing that, but if it happened, it wouldn't surprise me.
Okay, so that wouldn't surprise you, the 3 of you. Okay. How frequently would you think that the 3 of you would have texted?
Not very. I wouldn't think very often, but you're asking me to recall. I don't even know what time period you're asking me to recall, but I'm not going to speak to that because I just really don't know the answer to that. And so I don't want to speculate as to how often that would happen. But it's not out of my practice to text 2 people on one text message. So if you told me that happened and showed it to me, it wouldn't surprise me, although I have no recollection of it.
But there would be some record of it in your phone, or the phone records would have some record of those texts.
Perhaps. I don't know.
Talk about, you said that sometimes you paid Miss Yeardy cash. When you went on vacation with Mr. Wade, let's just go one by one.
Here we go.
What's the first time you went on vacation with Mr. Wade?
Somebody type sugar mom in the chat room.
It was around April of 22, and it's a vacation is a stretch but I'm trying to be comprehensive. I recall April of 22. His birthday is March the 18th. So that would have been his 49th birthday. I took him to like Tennessee for the day. I think we went to a museum. I think we might have stayed the night.
Took him to Tennessee. Yeah, let him get that.
Tennessee's kind of hard to call.
I let him hit it for his birthday.
And it, like I said, I know it wasn't more than a day.
Yeah, it didn't take much more than a day, baby. Yeah.
I think that we did. That's what I'm telling you. I think that there's a possibility that we stayed that night.
Possibility. We stay all night. He hit it all night. Yeah.
Maybe a deputy.
Yeah. Oh, come on, baby. Come on, baby. Don't do me like that. Here we go.
Around then,
April 2020?
22. Yes, it was around.
Yeah, that was the first time he took me to Tennessee.
When you're in grade school and you send a little letter and it says, "Will you be my girlfriend?" and you check it. I don't know the day that we started seeing each other, but it was early 22. Was my record.
Okay, early 22. And you all went to Florida on vacation as well?
Somebody clap. If you're in the audience, just start clapping.
On vacation with him.
You never went to Florida with Mr. Wade?
When we went to get on the cruise ship, we went to Miami.
Okay, that's the only time that you went to Florida with him?
I think we went to Miami and spent the night.
Yeah. In my hey, baby.
That's my recollection of our
paid for that hotel.
In Miami?
Look.
I don't remember that.
And how'd you get to Miami?
Bitch, we flew, bitch. What you mean? How you get to Miami?
We've done that twice. Time we stayed, and I honestly can't tell you, did we stay when the ship left,
or
did we stay
for $600,000? Every man in this audience would be smacking that. So that's why somebody type sugar mom in the chat room.
And then there was another that was a New Year's Eve trip. I know I paid for the New Year's Eve trip.
She paid for it.
97 each, and I thought
boss chick.
It's $700 to go to Miami.
700. She paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it. I paid for it.
Florida with Mr. Wade. That was the time that you said you stayed in Miami at the hotel the first night?
That's the time I told you I am not sure.
Y'all was on the script.
So I want to make sure that my testimony is clear. I'm not sure
where y'all
stay
stay
in
at
Miami on the October trip. I'm not sure if we stayed in Miami on the December trip. I just can't remember that.
Yeah.
And I also don't remember, so that the record is clear, I don't remember if the necessity was as we got on the ship or we got off the ship. But I do remember there was a night spent in Miami because either whatever. I don't remember.
She don't know what it was, but she was dazed. That's what she knows.
Is the one that you took in October, right?
This is a mess. Somebody type a mess in the chat room.
Something to refresh my recollection. I'm intentionally trying to not be difficult with you, but I don't want to make up something. I know that on one of those two trips, we stayed in Miami. I am not sure right now. You're asking me about.
Oh, I'm sorry, you misunderstood. I was not asking you which night you stayed in Miami. I'm asking if you took a cruise in October 2022 with Mr. Wade.
Yes, and his mom.
And his mother. That's
his mama. I went with his mama. Now what?
Yeah.
It was on that cruise, and that was Royal Caribbean, I believe.
I honestly don't remember what ship. I know we've taken two cruises. I don't.
This is the mess.
For
it's a whole mess.
And the cruise on Royal Caribbean that time.
Yes.
So yes, he paid. He is the original one that does it. He has something called Mr. Wade is a world traveler. I'm not as versed as him. He's been to 6.
He's been around. He been everywhere, so baby. I was on the.
He has both a personal travel agent and he also has a cruise travel agent.
Damn. He a playboy. Somebody type playboy in the chat room.
He is the one that would book the travel, but we need to be clear when we're talking about just because he booked it doesn't mean, like, I don't consider him having taken me anyplace. Let me just be honest.
Boss chick.
That's ever taken
he ain't took me nowhere.
It's for his 50th birthday. I consider that I took him to Belize.
I paid for it
because I don't want to discuss his personal business, but I'm happy Mr. Wade is still here with us. And I did 50 big. Very big.
I did 50 big. You hear that? I did 50 big for my man, son. I paid for it, son.
If you do me a favor, I don't know what.
I did 50 big,
So if
son.
say,
This what I'm talking about.
Mama, or
Somebody type sugar mama in the chat room.
I'll be able to, we can communicate. I just don't know what ship.
October cruise with Mama. That's what I'm talking
She
about.
said,
He
my
paid
man
for the
turned
cruise
50.
and the flights.
I paid for a chip to Belize. Okay, that's what I did for him.
He has a cruise agent.
He was dealing with a lot, and I paid for him.
So I wasn't asking about his travel agent. I was just asking
but
if
I'm
he
trying
paid
to.
for those.
He did not, though. Okay. Because the reason I consider that he did not is I gave him his money back.
I gave him his money back.
Yeah, he called his cruise agent. Like, I think they have his card on record. They do whatever.
Okay. So in this
Yeah, baby, you want to go to Belize? No problem. Hey, look, bye-bye, done. Just reimburse me. Pimping.
October cruises, like it was a package the lady did for him.
So, and I'll get to the reimbursements and all that. I'm just trying to confirm he paid for the flight and the cruise in October.
And I think that when you say things that way, I want this record to be abundantly clear. That he calls his travel agent, he calls his cruise agent. They do whatever he tells them. He's like on a first name basis with these people. They do it, and he tells me how much it is, and I give him the money back. I don't, just like you're asking me about the money with Robin. I don't do my friends like that. So if you tell me it's a G, then you're gonna get $1,000. Whatever it is, I didn't ever make him
like that.
to me. Whatever he told me it was, I gave him his money back.
Isn't it true that he paid for the cruise and the
One thing we know is that Mr. Wade's, he about that goddamn long in the bedroom because he got this woman doing all kind of shit. Keep listening, learn something. Learn something.
Credit card, if it's a debit card, but certainly he called his cruise agent.
That wood. Somebody type that wood in the chat room.
He called his cruise agent, tell them where they want to go. They tell him what's booked.
Oh my God! Somebody type that wood in the chat room.
That initial was me, him, and his mother.
His mama went with us.
and then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel there, correct?
Right, and his mother was not happy.
He initially paid for that.
They left the mama in Aruba. They went to Aruba.
Yes, ma'am.
So
Some cheek clapping going on.
I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
Yes.
For the cruise and for Aruba. Yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
Oh, I gave him money before we ever left. Shout out to Kofi Anasol.
And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
No, lady.
You did not go to the ATM.
No.
Okay. So Fulton County pays you direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia.
Let's see how the money popped up. Let's see.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank.
I have money in my house.
Oh! How you gonna prove she don't?
When you meet my father, he's gonna tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times.
There it is. How you prove that?
Man feels like that.
How you prove that she didn't have it?
My daddy had 3 safes in it.
Case dismissed.
My father's bought me a lockbox, and I always keep cash in the house.
I bet she got a gun too.
To the degree that my father would do it, so he would probably be ashamed with me, but I always have.
I keep cash it right here in my breast. Okay, I got a sock full of money right up under my titty meat, right there in my bra. I keep money under my mattress and a butcher knife under my pillow, just like my grandma. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
I don't go on many dates, but when you go on a date, you should have cash in your pocket.
You keep money right here in your bra.
Where did that cash originally come from?
With the sock in there.
Cash is,
Like my grandma did. Hallelujah.
I had cash for years in my house. So for me to tell you the source of when it comes from, when you go to Publix and you buy something, you get $50, you throw it in there. When it's been my whole life. When I took out a large,
I don't know how much money I got
I kept some of the cash of that
in my house.
To tell you, I just have cash in my house. I don't have as much today as I would normally have, but I'm building back up now. So you just put money.
You trying to get her riled. That's what you trying to do. There's a bunch of dudes in Atlanta right there with their Birdman hands going like that.
I can identify it. No, nobody gives me anything. I am sure that the source of the money is always the work, sweat, and tears of me.
Oh!
What you asked me for is, when did the money go in there? What I am trying to tell you is,
I've been doing.
I got divorced in 2005 from my husband.
And
no.
No. Let me finish.
And I need to tell you where the money came.
Let me tell you where the money came from, smart white girl.
Years, I have kept money in my house. That money in my worst days has probably only been $500 or $1,000. At my best days, I probably had $15,000 in my house.
Now.
Cash. At all times,
Now.
there's going to be cash in my house.
Now.
Or wherever I'm laying my head.
The money that you paid Mr. Wade, the cash.
That came from my little petty money in the house.
I do know where it came from. It came from my sweat and tears.
Oh, that's where it came from. Woo! Woo!
It came from, I'm not a, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about, little white girl?
A private job, because before I was DA, I was in private practice. So
Where the money come from? Where the money come from? It came from my sweat and tears. That's where it came from.
Same with Aruba. You don't know where that cash came from either, right?
It came from my house.
My testimony greatly. I'm not going to allow you to mischaracterize my testimony.
I'm not.
I know that I keep money in my house. The amounts of money I gave Mr. Wade, it was never that serious.
It wasn't that serious. That's small money to me. I'm a boss.
So we're not talking about $20,000 in cash. I don't have $20,000 in cash right now. The most I ever did.
All these lawyers I gotta pay
$500 when we went to Belize, because we went to one hotel and then we went to a second hotel. That $2,500.
She was at Ambergris Cave. I know what she
know
did.
that the Aruba trip, the one that you described with his mom, I think I gave him about $2,000 for that.
2G, nothing to a boss. Nothing to a boss shit.
Aruba trip. So I consider that to be one trip. So we got off of a cruise ship and then we went to Aruba, which is why I cannot remember is that the time that we had to stay in Miami to wait for the flight for Aruba.
Now what? What other questions you have?
I consider that one trip that we didn't like come back.
Little white girl, I takes care of my man.
Down to Miami. We got on a cruise ship. We spent a couple of days with his mama. We came back to Miami.
His mama liked me.
To Miami either that day or the next day. We flew to Aruba. We spent a few days in Aruba and we came back. That was really one trip. Even though we went two places, it was one trip.
So let's talk about the California trip.
Now, Napa.
You're moving your daughter out to California?
Well, I can't go to Napa.
My daughter doesn't live in California.
Did she ever live in California?
I'm not discussing to you the location of my child.
Ooh.
So how many times did you go with Mr. Wade to California?
Once.
And you also stayed in Napa Valley and he paid for the plane ticket.
I'm not discussing with you the location of my child.
And what did you pay for on that trip?
I gave him much less cash that time, probably $400 or $500, and then I paid for a bunch of stuff. I think we did 2 different wines.
Shout out to Mr. Told You, Dirty South. Dirty.
They're pretty expensive. I think I bought him. He likes wine. I don't really like
wine.
I like Grey Goose.
She like that Grey Goose? Somebody type Grey Goose in the chat room.
Sippings that you do. I can't remember.
I'm about to get me some Grey Goose.
Places you go. I remember we went to this place that they do pairings. That was the most expensive thing that I think that we did. While
Somebody type Grey Goose in the chat room, baby.
They would pair champagne.
I like that Taka vodka myself. Y'all like that Taka vodka?
Chocolate and caviar.
That's what I used to drink.
It was like 3 different.
And that Mad Dog 2020. Keep listening.
I'll make that up.
The green one.
That was the most expensive thing we did that trip, and I paid for it.
I paid for it. Somebody type, I paid for it in the chat room.
Yeah, I think that trip did not cost me a lot of money. I might have took like $750 in cash on me because we weren't gone.
Because I'm a boss. That ain't nothing to me.
I'd only asked if you paid in cash. I don't even know the amounts.
When I travel, I always take cash.
I always take cash because I'm a real woman.
Keep in your house, or do you
unlike you.
So at that point, it wouldn't be at my house, and I'm sorry if I was not clear. The money would be wherever I laid my head.
Now.
So I wouldn't leave the money at the house.
I got a stash spot, bitch. That's what she's saying.
Money's gonna be where I stay.
It's gonna be with me.
Pay for your trip to Panama.
Okay.
To where?
Panama, I believe.
Panama.
I may have the location wrong.
I never went to Panama.
So
Mr. Wade went to Panama with his frat brother.
Oh.
So tell me about, let's see. So I want to make sure.
He went to Panama with his frat brother. You got me confused,
Let me
LaBoo.
tell you our real trips. In October, we went on the cruise with his mom. We got back from the cruise with his mom and we went to Aruba. I consider that one trip. Second trip, New Year's Eve, we went on a cruise to the Bahamas. That's the second trip. I want to make sure I get this right. Third trip, 100% on me. I think he might have spent $200 on that entire trip.
What?
We went to Belize.
Shit, I need,
that
look.
was, you know, his 50th. And then Napa Valley, we went around May. I don't know the dates, but it seems to me like it was close to Mother's Day.
Shout out to Quick 504. She must into fast Fanny when she cook off the clock. Yeah.
I can remember one time driving to, where were we? South Carolina, and we met my sister for lunch with her man.
When was that?
I don't know, but we didn't stay the night there. But I guess people would consider that a trip if you drive somewhere and you come back. That was insane because it was like 5 hours to drive.
Lord,
we
gee.
ate lunch and we drove right back.
That's that Southern living.
I can remember driving to some little town.
Yeah, Fanny do sound fun in the motherfucker. She pay for her own shit. What? And she fun size too? Shit. 5'5" with brown eyes.
We didn't do that.
Fanny paid for her own shit. Look, you know what? Fuck all that. Everything I said before, get that. I like Fanny. Fanny paid for her own shit. She said my man did it big for his 50.
And drove right back. So that's a trip. We didn't stay the night there, but I just want to be complete in my testimony. We drove someplace, had lunch, drove back.
Drove someplace, had lunch, he smashed it out, and he came back. That's what happened.
In South Carolina. We went by ourselves when I told you about that remote place in Georgia. We could have driven someplace else and had lunch and came back, but that's all that comes to my recollection right now. There could have been another place we drove and had lunch. My security team was very clear to me. I'm not to be out and about in Atlanta without them. And so for me to do something just very normal that a normal person would get to do, if they weren't prosecuting this case, I got to drive 4 hours to do it.
And that's what I was going to ask you. Your security detail, did they take you to and from your house?
So I haven't been able to enjoy my home.
Condo, I'm sorry.
Since March of
where you lay your head. Did they take you to and from where you lay your head?
99% of the time.
Would they take Mr. Wade to and from wherever you laid your head?
That has never in the history of ever happened. Ever, okay?
Ever.
Never taken him?
From my house? That's a lie.
That's another. If they've ever taken him anywhere.
And I'm telling you that that's never happened.
So your security team has never taken
My
Mr. Wade
security team has never taken Mr. Wade from any place where I have lived and brought him here. Never. Not once. Not ever.
Have they ever taken the two of you together?
To where?
Anywhere.
We've left this building and gone to lunch, but I go to lunch so rarely that is a very rare occasion. I am sure, and let me be clear, it wouldn't just be Mr. Wade. So I'm sure my security team has taken me to lunch. Probably been a time I've left here 7 o'clock, gone to get something to eat. And I don't even know that they would have taken him or if he would have driven himself, but they've taken me to do that. But we're talking very few, very far in between. Most days I don't even eat lunch. And when I do, it's because my assistant has heated up some bag, something, and I eat through meetings and eat in my office. It's not a practice of mine to go to lunch.
During the time period that you were dating, would your security team ever take you two together anywhere?
No.
Never.
If there was a lunch that occurred that I just described, if there was a meal that occurred that I just described, anything outside of that, and it needs to be very clear. Not often. Once, twice. Because I want to be
3 times a lady.
I'm saying once or twice. I'm not certain that it happened, but I'd rather be over-inclusive with you.
So your office objected to us getting Delta records for flights that you may have taken.
Yes, bitch.
Well, no, look. I object to you getting records. You've been intrusive into people's personal lives. You're confused. You think I'm on trial. These people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. No matter how hard you try to put me on trial.
Damn.
My question was, do you have any problem?
I object to getting any personal records of mine.
We're not dealing with privilege through a witness.
And I'm not, no, I'm not dealing with privilege. What we had offered to put them
Y'all on trial, not me.
I just want to know if she has any
That's
problem.
not something to deal with a witness.
Somebody said ask about Freak Nick 94.
Okay, you have to file as part of your job
Ah, this is hilarious.
Disclosure report, correct?
That's correct.
And you filed your first one, so you filed 2 today, is that right?
Is it 2 or 3? I probably would have filed 21 and 22. Maybe I haven't filed 23 yet, because isn't it due like June of the next year?
April, I believe. So you filed, let's see, you filed your first one, it looks like April 15th, 2022, and your second
Let me call
one,
my accountant. Shit.
April 17th, 2023. Does that sound familiar?
That I don't remember the dates, but you're an officer of the court. I'm gonna hope you're telling the truth now.
Oh, I'm a hope.
May I approach the witness?
You may.
Thank you. I already gave the state a copy.
Woo! Yes, Lord. I've never.
Can somebody bring me some? Yeah. Guys are getting a little old.
Yeah, she did not even answer the questions like normal people. But she just answered the question like she owned the courtroom.
Yes.
Somebody type boss pick in the chat
These are the
room.
ones that you filed.
This looks like me for sure.
Now what they're gonna try to do is get her to say, did you claim
Yes, ma'am.
where the cash come from?
Judge, we'd move to admit 20 and 21.
I think you need to delineate which ones.
20 is 2021, so it accounts for the time period, Your Honor, January the 1st, 21 through December the 31st, 2021. That is Defendant's Exhibit 20. Defendant's Exhibit 2021, it accounts for the time period, January the 1st, 2022 through December the 1st of 2022.
All right. Any objection to exhibits 20 and 21?
Nope.
Ah, she said no. You are the client, ma'am. You can't be in here.
Your personal relationship with Mr. Wade.
Then a lawyer and the witness.
Our personal relationship ended in this year. So let's speak. So I don't want to mix words in here. Mr. Wade is my friend right now. Mr. Wade, I would say, has been my friend since 2020. I think he started out as like a mentor and a professional colleague. He became my friend and somebody that I really respected. I feel very indebted to Mr. Wade for taking on the task of this job. And he is certainly my friend and one of the people that I respect the most. So if you ask about a personal relationship, I consider myself to have a personal relationship right now, Mr. Wade. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Anna Cross. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Mr. Abadi. I consider myself to have a personal relationship with Andrew Evans.
Okay, let me just clarify that.
I have a personal relationship with him as we speak right now.
A
I don't think that's what you're asking. I think that's what
romantic
you're asking.
relationship. When did your romantic
Yeah, ask the question right.
end? When did it end?
Me and Mr. Wade,
When did he hit it for the first time?
we are good friends.
When did he smack it up and down? When did he hit that from the back?
My respect for him has grown over these 7 weeks of attacks. We are very good friends. I think, but for these attacks, it would have been a friendship that, as life goes, he would have stopped having. I think that you have cemented that we'll be friends to the day we die.
Let's.
We just have an answer to the question.
I can handle Mr. Seda. Let's have it.
She asked about a personal relationship.
She asked when the romantic relationship ended. That's the question.
It's sometime in, I'd say late summer of 20.
When was the last time you hit
I
it?
don't believe me in, this is what you're really asking about. This is the salaciousness of all of this, right?
No, I'm just
when
asking
you're
about your
re-
romantic relationship. When you stopped dating.
I think that me and Mr. Wade,
Stop fucking. When?
so he's a man, and he probably would say June or July.
He hit the
I
pussy
would say
in
we had
June.
a tough conversation in August.
He hit the pussy in August. That was the last time he hit it. That's basically. He would have said June. I'm saying August
Into physical intimacy.
because y'all want to know.
Relationships when that tough conversation takes place.
Yeah, he hit it from the back in August. That would be his day.
I guess the condo, I'm not sure what you called it, condo apartment. Would he come and stay at that condo or visit you there? I'm sorry, visit you.
Where did he hit it at?
Condo, what apartment? I want to be clear.
Did he smack it with the right hand or the left hand? That's basically what the lawyer wants to know.
There's been more. See, what you don't understand is because of this case, I got to move, and so I
Ms.
need
Merchant, if you
to.
could ask a more precise
Yes.
question.
Please give me the time period. that we're
Mr.
talking
Wade visited you at the place you laid your head.
about. When?
Has he
When?
ever visited you at the place you laid your head?
So let's be clear, because you lied in this. Let me
You
tell
done
what you
lied.
lied in right here. I think you lied right here. No. This is the truth.
This the truth.
It is a lie. It
We're
is
gonna-
a lie.
Ms. Will?
You see.
Mr. Sena, thank you. We're going to take 5 minutes.
We're gonna take 5 minutes. Let me explain what's going on right here. What's happening? Look at your girl. Oh my God. Oh my God. Boy, look, man. Hold on a minute. So basically, they trying to get her to say, look, she said, well, he would say the relationship ended in June because that's the last time he hit it. But it ain't really the last time he hit it because he came back and hit it again in August. And then I'm going to say that's when the relationship ended because it lingered for a little while because he was still spanking these cheeks from June all the way through to August. So, you ain't just going to leave nobody in the summer. You ain't going to have nothing to do in the summer. Everybody done booed up doing cuffing season around about spring. And so you need to keep somebody with you through the summer. And then when the summer's over, you know what I mean? Then you could, recycle, go to winter and hibernate and come back out in the spring, get you somebody new. But basically what happened was that ass was getting towed up till June. Bam, 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 all the way through to August. Bam, bam, July, bam, bam, bam. Then they had a tough conversation in August, praise God, and that's when he officially said he broke up. That's what happened. Okay, we want to know. That's when the relationship ended. Okay, because it got too hot. It's February right now. It's February. Okay, and in August, guess what happened? It ended. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Let me go ahead and give a shout out to everybody out here. Did you see? I keep my money in my house. Okay, I always keep money on me. Okay, just in case, 'cause I'm a real woman. That's what she said. I'm a real woman. I keep money when I need it. A little $700, $400, that ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? Ain't nothing. You wouldn't understand that. Where the money come from? From my hard-earned work. I've been had it at my house. That's what she's saying. Shout out to Salty Balls. He said, C thought this was a scandal fantasy. I know it's a hot mess, man. Who else we got up in here? Big shout out to Quick Fit 504. The Diva Energy is powerful, but that show is, man. She got that. Ooh, she's demonic. Who else we got? Salty Ball said, listen to how smug she is in the glasses in her mouth. And he's meant her. Yeah, man, it's out here, baby. It's out here strong, baby. They are doing a lot. They're doing a lot. I'm just gonna tell you, they're doing a lot. Woo! It's too much. Woo! I'm out of breath. I don't know what to say. Y'all with me? Let me know. What do y'all think? Do you think because she basically went on straight predator mode on a little white girl. You don't know what you talking about. This is a lie from hell. You see what I'm saying? This is a lie. You don't know what you talking about. Oh, man. And he didn't go to no Panama with me. Okay? He went to Panama with his friends. Somebody type passport bros in the chat room. Somebody type, Wade went straight passport bro on her. He said, man, that brought her too much goddamn trouble. Let's go on down here to Panama and make it happen. Ain't nothing in Panama. We know what you was doing down there in Panama. Look at the judge. The judge is like, woo. This is the most action he's ever seen. Shout out to Callaway. Man, she cooked herself. I don't know, man. It's hard to. She definitely setting herself up to be like Housewives of Atlanta or something like that. I mean, oof. I mean, she not holding back. Whether I believe or not, I don't know. But this little white girl right here, she's not used to dealing with these lovely ladies like that. Old girl is not humble at all. She is not humble. There's not really nothing you can do about it. The judge really want to be careful because, like, I got to see this broad. She is the DA. She can make my life hard. You see what I'm saying? Woo! Yep, clapping cheeks. Clapping cheeks. That's what got us all in this trouble, man. Ooh, man, we're going to have to start calling old boy Dickum Down Wade because he must have did something to this gal. Wade what did he do to this girl, man? What did he do? What did he do to this young gal? To have her, we back. Let's listen. Y'all ready? Let's get back in the game, baby. Hit the number 1 button if you can hear. I'm going to get the volume up. Shout out to Mr. I Told You. He said, this is the same person who defiled the pulpit at church, defying allegations. Yes, Lord. Let's keep it going. She said I did it big for his 50 though. For my man, I took care of him on his 50th birthday. That's what she said. I did it big for him. You understand? Oh Lord, let me slide this back down a little bit. Let's scoot it over a little bit. Let's get into the game.
I'm gonna say yes, although I have no recollection. But it seems to me like I go out to eat and drink with pretty much everyone, so I'm gonna say yes.
So outside of the vacations that we've already talked about, did you ever go out to dinner with Mr. Wade?
I mentioned to you that
I'm going to object as to what time period. We're asking very vague questions. I thought we were treating the witness as hostile under 611. We're no longer doing that. So we're going to go back and forth. We need to be more specific with our questions. We're going to treat her as hostile.
All right, Ms. Merchant, it's not so much. I think you can elect between leading and open-ended questions, but I think we are still wondering.
Take a break.
And I think we need to get
Take a
back
break.
on track of focusing on the financial benefit or the relationship.
And my next question about if you did go out to dinner, who paid when you went out to dinner?
Damn.
I paid.
You both.
Okay, so let me be real clear. We didn't say, oh, the bill is $102. You give $51, I'll give $51. I don't operate like that with my girlfriends. I don't operate like that with anyone. You caught the bill, I caught the bill. Whomever.
Yeah.
Did you ever pay him through Cash App?
No.
You only ever paid him through cash?
Well, yes. We're talking about, I'm very confused.
You've never given Mr. Wade money through Cash App?
No.
The only money you've ever given him outside of a contract is cash.
I didn't give him money in a contract, so that was cute.
Oh!
But I didn't give him money outside in a contract.
You said that was cute.
No, we're gonna answer it since you said it. He worked more hours than he was paid, and
You said that was
paid
cute.
him for the work that he did. So don't be cute with me and think that you're not gonna get an answer.
Somebody type cute in the chat room. Say don't be cute in the chat room. Come on.
Pay him anything, and I'm trying to qualify my questions. I'm not talking about the contract with Fulton County that was paid. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about outside of that. Did you
Don't
ever
be
pay
cute.
him anything other than cash?
I've only given cash a few times in the course of what we're talking about.
So
You said pesos? What you mean?
If we would go to dinner, I wouldn't give him cash because he paid for dinner or I paid for dinner. I've given him cash only a few times in life, probably 4. Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
You never wrote him a check?
Man,
I
don't have checks.
Okay. So you have no proof of any reimbursement for any of these things because it was all cash, right?
The testimony of one witness is enough to prove a fact.
Oh.
So my
Are you
question was,
telling
do
me
you
that
have
I'm
any
lying?
proof?
Is that what you're intimating right
Take it
now?
to law school.
I'm asking if you have any proof that you paid from any of these
The
monies.
proof is what I just told you.
You have no written proof. Is that correct?
So I have some, probably some transactions like in Belize. I probably spent $500 on my card in Belize. I spent I can't remember, $900 on each of our tickets to go to Belize. I did the $700. I probably got some minor expenses in Aruba that would be on a card. But for the most part, for those trips, other than, so the 2 cruises, I gave him money for those before we ever left because they were pre-booked. Let me answer.
Well, the question was if you had any written proof. And so
I've answered.
I'm telling you.
we can move to the next question. If you've answered, if you had any written proof, and that was my question.
I want to make sure that we're clear that for the 2 cruises,
Judge,
and that's
I
the
asked if
cruise
she gave
plus
him written
Aruba.
proof.
We're not going to talk over each other. Ms. Merchant, she answered your question, so you can ask the next question. Ms. Pross will have.
Don't be cute, little white girl. Don't be cute.
Thank you, Judge. Knowing your role as district attorney, you know that public funds are scrutinized and money is scrutinized and things like that. You understand.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
You understand you're under a microscope. You have reporting requirements, all of those types of things. You have no record other than your testimony of the money that you've given Mr. Wade.
You've already asked that question. Let's keep going.
When you took office, you had a tax lien of $4,600. Did you pay that with cash when you made that tax lien whole?
I probably paid through however you pay.
Okay. So, but you were saying that you had amounts of cash. You still had that lien in 2022 when you were dating Wade and going on these trips. So the cash that you gave him, that could have been used to pay the tax lien off?
You gonna tell me how to pay my bills?
Mr. Merchant,
Can't tell me how to
you're
pay my
trying
bill.
to establish that she was insolvent in some way.
I definitely was trying to establish that she did not have these mass amounts of cash that she's talking about. Yes.
Mass. You calling me a liar?
Re-ask the question.
You had a tax lien in 2022, $4,600.
Did you say I did?
And you did not use this cash that you had to reimburse Mr. Wade to pay that off, correct?
No. I went shopping too and I didn't pay it off.
Oh,
And you talked about, you gave a lot.
you got debts to pay, and you're not paying your bills, Fanny.
I would not characterize it as a lot. I probably have spoken to them 2 or 3 times.
I think it's already come up that finances are discussed in the book. I'll overrule that.
Thank you.
Ms. Willis, you can continue your answer.
What came up with Mr. Wade as it relates to hearsay statements that he was asked about in relation to what Ms. Willis may or may not have said in relation to an author. So it's not relevant to testimony that's occurring.
I think Ms. Merchant has said that inside the book, she also made a statement as to her own finances, and that's that issue.
Y'all make sure y'all hit the thumbs up button, baby. Hit the number 1 button. Hit the thumbs up button. I'll be right back.
Just to be comprehensive, I don't know if it was 3 times, 2 or 3 times, I think.
You were quoted in the book, and I will give you a chance to say if this is a misquote. You were quoted, when they asked you about if you wanted to run for office for DA, you were quoted, "I really don't want to be financially effed up again." Do you remember saying that?
So what that refers to,
My question first is if you remember saying that.
I remember saying something similar to that, but I would like to be able to explain what that's in
fine.
reference to. That's not in reference to anything else. It was a huge sacrifice to be district attorney in Fulton County. Huge. I was doing just fine. I had a municipal court judgeship that was paying me $100-something thousand a year, and like you got to show up twice a week. Easiest thing I've ever done in life. I also had private clients that were paying me to represent them. So I was able to have a law practice and that. Raising 2 daughters by myself, there were times in life where things were hard. And so I was telling people, I don't really run for DA. I don't want to run for DA. I'm in a good position right now. I got this easy job that I enjoy, being the chief judge of the city of South Fulton. I'm making money at the law firm, and I'm not sure that I want to make this sacrifice. And why does it always have to be me? Eventually I prayed. I think that I was the appropriate person. I think that I did that. So when you're referring to that, what I'm saying is, why should I make a sacrifice again? And what I was not talking about is being district attorney. Once you get elected district attorney, you're in a fine financial position. I make over $200,000 a year. What I was talking about is I ran for judge. When I ran for judge, I took $50,000 of my personal money out of my retirement. And that money ended up being lost. And I know when you bet on yourself, you're going to have to bet money on yourself. And so what I was talking about was not wanting to go through the personal financial expense of running for office. By no means did I think that I was going to be financially in a bad position once I won. Let's talk about what I was up against, because it's important to understand that comment.
Man.
I had a district attorney who had been here for 24 years. People, no, it's very relevant as to what my mindset was about this. So I'm trying to answer your question. So what I was saying is
Tailored solely to finance.
Right, but it is about my finances. If I didn't, nobody put me in this seat. So I had already run for office once. I had spent $50,000 of my own money running, and it was vamoose, nothing. And so when I'm talking to those offers, I'm talking about the contemplation of the sacrifice of the run, not the sacrifice of once you become DA. The odds were against me. I was likely going to lose the election based on who I was running against. So
I feel bad for Fanny. I feel bad for Wade because they got to go through this. But again, I called it early on. I hate to see black folks having to deal with this, but you got to remember where you are. We live in this, and you in Georgia, damn it, Georgia, Republican ass Georgia, and you putting all these white folks on along with Donald Trump, you're going to become a target. You see what I mean? Until if you live in that fantasy world that you think it's all equal and it's all good, this is going to happen to you. You got to understand where you are, who you dealing with. folks still get clannish. You see what I'm saying? They see black people using the system designed to protect the white folk, run by white folk, to put white folk in jail. Oh no, it's gonna be bad. I hate this shit. This is so personal. Let's keep listening though.
But I don't remember clients not being able to pay their bills or.
May I approach Judge?
You can.
You may.
Please, pardon me.
I have not read this book. So like this fact here, her ex-husband Fred had run into a financial. I have no information about that.
I just asked about if you were, what they represent from their interviews with you, that you were broke and that you had clients that weren't able to pay their bills.
Can you show me where that is? Because this is where you put the tab, so that's what I read.
Broke, couldn't pay their bills.
Yeah, I'm sure I characterize myself as broke as leaving that $50,000. I don't know that I had her nascent law practice at Paltry Rep.
Well, you just
I didn't have.
Ms. Merchant.
I thought I had a law practice. So this is not correct. I'm sure it's just I didn't have any asset forfeiture cases. So I had one case where they had took one of my clients' money at the airport. I don't know if that's what they're I don't know. Paltry array. I did have family law cases. I guess that's what they're talking about. And clients who couldn't pay their bills ain't clients. So no.
So my question was just if this was a fair and accurate representation where it says you were trying to make it month to month at that point.
No, I don't think that is actually a fair and accurate representation, but I am certain that after the 2018 election, I'm still not really happy about having given up that $50,000.
You know when you paid your tax lien?
I don't.
You don't? Do you know if you paid it?
I know I've paid some taxes. I don't know. I don't want to speculate.
Did you tell anyone at Fulton County Board of County Commissioners about your relationship with Mr. Wade?
No.
Did you disclose your relationship to anybody at Fulton County?
No, I don't think so.
And as the chief law enforcement officer of Fulton County, I assume that you're familiar with the county code and ordinances?
I've said we're not going to cover that in this hearing, Ms. Merchant.
I'm sorry, Judge?
I think we said we weren't going to cover the county regulations.
Okay, and I won't. Let me ask you this then. So are you aware that you're required to disclose any relationship with someone that you contract with in Fulton County?
Would this be different because it's a potential for impeachment?
Yes.
What did you ask me?
Ms. Merchant, if you could re-ask the question.
Okay. Are you aware that Fulton County requires you to disclose any relationship with someone that you're doing business with?
I'm not aware, and I know often that things are confused with state constitutional officers in county, but I'm not aware.
Okay. So it's your understanding that you don't have a duty to disclose the relationship?
She's answered that question.
She said she don't know.
Did you keep track of this cash that you paid him at all?
What are you talking? I don't understand.
Did you keep track? Did you keep a ledger? Did you keep track of it?
Hell no.
So I've only given him cash, as I mentioned, 3 or 4 times. There's no ledger.
There's no ledger.
Friends handing money off to each other.
So the answer is no.
I think you've already asked whether there was any written proof whatsoever. She's
Yes.
answered that.
Okay.
So we've covered this. Let's move on.
What else you got? You been up there for an hour, white girl.
Who are you referring to when you suggested that Mr. Roman's motion to disqualify was racially motivated?
We already said we're not talking about the.
We ain't talking about it. The judge said nope. Move on.
And just so the record is clear, I don't believe I said that his motion was racially motivated, so I don't want that to stay there. I've never said his motion was racially motivated, so that should not be
Ms.
true.
I think it would be best if we don't need to go down that road.
Don't go down that road. Even though we know it is racially motivated, I'm just saying.
You would not engage with a personal relationship with anyone that worked for Fulton County, is that correct?
He don't work for Fulton County.
An employee?
Anyone that works
He's a special prosecutor.
employee. Okay. So that's the qualification you give an employee?
I think that's the statement that I made. So if you want to quote me accurately.
Oh!
So it's your position because Mr. Wade was not an employee? Or it's your position he wasn't an employee, correct?
Mr. Wade is not an employee, and he will tell you that over and over again.
I don't work for Fulton County. She fixed your ass. I said I was not gonna be messing around my employees in her run up to be DA. And dude is not an employee.
Just so I make sure I accurately quote you. What you said was you won't sleep with people who work under you. Do you not consider Mr. Wade working under you?
I consider Mr. Wade to be an agent.
He's an agent.
Yeah,
All right.
an appointee is what I really would think of him as.
Your point, whatever Meredith has, Ms. Merchant, is on the record. Next question. All right. Do we need any moments in a minute? Mr. Sadow.
Woo!
All right.
Oh, Jesus. So here come another one. Let's see how she treat him. You think that was bad? I can already tell you this is about to be off the chain. Uh-oh. Here we go.
I'm going to try to ask you questions that you can actually answer.
Oh, the
without having
disrespect.
to explain, okay?
Yes, sir. My comprehension skills are pretty good, so we should do all right.
We shall soon see.
Damn, they going back and forth.
If I heard you correctly, you moved into what I will refer
They need
to as
the judge
your
is letting this shit go too
condo
far though.
in either March or April of 2021. Is that correct?
Sometime between late February and April. Yes, I don't. Just so we're clear. Yes, but in that time period, you're in the ballpark. We're in the ballpark.
And is that Yerty condo, would you say that it is in Hapeville?
It is in Hapeville. Yes, sir.
And you moved in there for safety reasons?
My father. Yes, I moved in there. We were concerned. My father was terribly concerned about me continuing to live at the house, and so they were clear. People came to my house at 5 o'clock in the morning about the police brutality cases, saying I was going to have a wake-up call. There were security threats due to gang cases.
Damn.
And there were concerns due to the, that was at the very beginning of this, looking into that. And so for all of those reasons and what was happening, my father wanted me out the house, and begrudgingly I left.
I left.
Okay, so the answer to the question was yes for safety reasons, correct?
Those were all of the things that caused the safety concerns. I'm sorry.
I'm not questioning whether they are or are not safety concerns. I just asked that you moved into this condo, the RT condo,
Right.
for safety reasons, right?
Yes.
Okay. At the time that you moved into the condo, be it from February to April of 2021,
Yes.
was your father still living in your house?
Right, because my father.
That's
yeah.
all I ask you.
But I get to explain the answer, sir.
I don't know if there's an explanation. If I ask you, was your father still living at your house? The answer is either he was or he wasn't.
Yes, but you are going to get to argue at the end of this, as we both
I'm
know.
not going to
And
argue
so
anything.
I
I'm
would
going to
like
ask.
be able to explain why.
I'm going
And so,
to.
yes, because my father is an older gentleman, he was worried about COVID and he stayed.
Ms. Willis, I'm going to have to say that's the second time. Whenever we have to put a pause, we stop testifying, okay? You'll have a chance to explain yourself. The question was whether your father was not staying there at the time, and you're clarifying that in your answer as well. You can have a brief clarification, but it should be something that reaches.
Somebody type the judge is for the judge.
You can react to the question. We'll see where it takes us.
Okay,
The judge is for the judge. Be like, I'm not about to get in this
Still
shit.
living in your house at the time you moved to what I would refer to as a Yerty condo.
Yes, sir, he was, due to his concerns related to COVID.
The safety concern was that there was potential danger at your house. Is that correct?
Yes, my address had been exposed, so yes, there was concerns about potential danger at my house.
Okay, so anyone staying at your house in the time period after you went to the Yerty condo was still in danger, correct?
Yeah, well, no. He did.
I think you have to. It's your attorney, Ms. Willis. Sorry, Mr. Bott, your objection is speculation.
Yes.
To the question of
Speculation.
whether someone was still in danger at her condo.
I can.
Just let her answer the question.
Or Mr. Sadon wants to rephrase.
No, yeah,
I'm not sure.
I was able to
I've got
understand it.
I've got the objection, and then I have.
I'll withdraw the objection.
Okay.
So, and I remember the question, so I can.
Her lawyer objected.
You can now that the objection.
And she
has been
said,
withdrawn.
fuck him. Let me
Try to
answer the question.
That question.
Yes.
There's still a safety concern for people staying at the house.
So why wasn't your daddy
Yes,
scared?
I was very concerned about my father still living at the house. However, if you have dealt with an older gentleman, He was not leaving the house, despite my urging him that I thought he should leave as well.
That was
He
in
did
Vietnam.
not want to leave the house.
I ain't worried about
He
these
was
niggas.
particularly worried at his age about COVID, but that became I don't
Somebody
wanna
said her
say-
eyelashes
I was
came
not happy
unglued.
with
That's
the decision of
cold
my
blooded.
fathers, but I can't ultimately make him leave, and he stayed there too long, in my opinion.
My daddy would leave. He wasn't scared of them niggas.
Period that you
He wasn't scared.
to go to the Yerty condo. Did any of your children stay at your house?
So I don't think that they were there at that point. Certainly my baby wasn't there.
I'm talking about this entire period. We're talking about, if I remember correctly.
Now, mind you, her children grown.
You said that you stayed there at what I would call the Yerty condo until January of 2022, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm asking you in that period, which would be February to April of 2021 until January of 22, did any of your children stay at your
Them
house?
kids is 30.
And you don't have to yell at me.
Oh!
I'm able to understand. So I would ask you to not yell at me. That being said,
She rolled her
I
eye.
don't actually expressly remember, but I can tell you, since I have left my home, there have been times my oldest daughter came in, but I can't tell you with certainty the time window that you've said, if they did or not. And so I don't want to speculate to that, but there was some time that my oldest daughter came back. Whether it was that period or after I left the Yerty residence, I'm not sure, okay?
Okay, so if I continue to go into more detail on this, you're not going to be able to give me an answer of whether or not, in fact, any of your children were still at the house.
You
or
calling
staying
these
at your
trees a
house
grown up.
during that time period, correct?
What I can give you clarity of, so that we are clear, is from the time I moved out in February-ish of 2021, after I left there was a time period that my oldest daughter came back. But if you're asking me, was it in that window or after, I just don't have a recollection of that, because, you know, your kids come and they go. And so I don't remember
Did your children ever stay with you at the Yerty condo?
Shout out to the irony.
like maybe a night.
Mr. Tully, the irony is
Or a
removing.
girls' night or something, but live with, no.
Did anyone else stay with you at the Yerty condo,
That was
including Miss Yerty?
Never. Miss Yerty never lived in the condo. She met her husband and they moved. They weren't quite married, but they moved. Nobody ever lived with me in the condo. That was
My word was stayed, not lived. Stayed with you.
What the fuck does stay mean?
I don't understand the distinction, but
Explain yourself.
I think my baby's my oldest child. I think she spent one night with me, maybe my oldest and my youngest. But I think that whole time I was in that place, other than that one night, I don't think anyone ever, this is a very lonely period in my life. I don't think anyone ever spent the night other than maybe one night. I remember a picture of my baby sitting on the couch in that place. And I'm thinking she spent that night, but just a very lonely time in life.
We'll stay with the lone.
The irony is removing her from the Trump case and replacing her with someone with a better temper would actually help the case. It would. Shout out to Mr. Told You. Thank you so much, bro.
From the time you moved in until he was hired on November the 1st of 2021.
So I moved out of that condo, but during that time period, I'm sure he came to visit. I can remember us going, I think the restaurant's Lickety Split. I can remember him picking me up, going to Lickety Split and ordering some food and coming and sitting at my table and eating. So I remember times that he visited me at that condo. Yeah.
Okay, could you give us an approximation of how many times Mr. Wade visited you at the condo between the time you moved in and prior to November 1 of 2020?
I don't think often, but I don't want to speculate.
Can we say more than 5, more than 10?
It would be a guess, objection, speculation. I don't know.
Problem I'm having here. Let's say more than 10. But
The problem that you have in here is you paid your boyfriend $600,000 because he was clapping them cheeks. That's the problem you having, baby. So let's get back.
Condo a lot.
That's the problem.
I'm sorry. You want a number, and what I don't want to do.
Giving me your current and best recollection is all I'm asking for.
That's all I can give you, sir.
How many times did any of the prosecution team?
How many times did Wade come through?
To that condo
That's what we
between the
want
time
to
you
know.
moved in November 1st of 2021?
I don't think Anna's ever been to that condo.
What about any other prosecutor that's involved in the prosecution of this case?
Wasn't nobody else hitting?
Just Mr. Wade.
Yeah, just Mr. Wade was hitting. What kind of woman you think she
It
is?
was a lonely time.
Oh my God, that 2021. I have a lot of guilt about this time period in my life. Let me tell you why. But yes, it was a lonely time.
Okay.
I was very appreciative to the citizens for giving me this responsibility.
She's filibustering.
But what I
She know.
quickly learned is that this is a very isolating job.
That in
2021 was
in
the only time. I turned
35 minutes, the judge is gonna go home.
birthdays I've ever had.
Let me tell you what's happening.
I have a clear.
She's filibustering. In 35 minutes in Atlanta, all the court reporters got to go home. They got to go cook dinner and pick their kids up. So the case is going to be over for the day. You understand me? That's what I'm saying. So she's filibustering, answering all these questions. Smooth tactic, beautiful.
We
Let's
didn't
keep
share
it.
the condo at the same time.
So the answer would be no.
But we never stayed there together, so it's an
Okay.
impossibility.
It's an impossibility.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, Miss Yurdy, because we need to get clarification on this. Miss Yurdy stayed in that place. There may have been a time that me and Mr. Wade visited, like went and saw Miss Yurdy, but me and Miss Yurdy never lived there together. Just so we're clear.
Well, maybe that was clear, but I'm going to have to try again.
Okay.
Was Miss Yearty still living in the condo when you moved in?
Not a day.
Okay.
No.
What I'm
There's
talking
another misrepresentation in this. We never lived together. I never lived with Miss Yurdy.
My question, though, I'm trying to
She
understand.
said no, motherfucker.
After you moved in to the condo, Miss Yearty she was out of the condo.
Yes, she with her husband.
That's all I'm asking. She's not in the condo.
We never stay, Miss Yurty and I never stay a day together in the condo. All of her stuff was out of the condo, and all my stuff, some of my stuff, not all of it obviously, was moved into the condo. So we never stayed there together. No, sir.
All right. So when I asked you about Mr. Wade visiting the condo,
Yes.
when you were staying there,
Yes.
Miss Yearty wasn't staying there.
No.
correct?
That would be correct. Yes.
She wouldn't be at the condo.
Correct.
No, she would not.
It would be you and Mr. Wade alone at
Yeah,
the condo.
me and him alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is, there weren't any other witnesses to Mr. Wade and you at the condo.
He's talking
correct?
really white right now.
Yes.
No security, none of your security detail.
Don't object. She said it was just her and Mr. Wade.
Ask and
Sit
answer.
down. Let's move on to the next one.
Ask and answer, man. Come on.
Who in the prosecution team
Ew.
prior to, I guess, the motion being filed by defendant Roman, who in the prosecution team knew of your personal relationship, and now I'm talking romantic, with Mr. Wade?
Romantic.
So, sir,
Sir.
I am extremely private.
All I asked you is who knew.
No.
It's not.
You asking to speculate. You don't let her answer the question.
I ask you who.
Why are you yelling? What?
Answer it and then explain this for us.
I am very private. When I supervised Mr. Body and Mr. McAfee, they didn't know who I was dating, but I can assure you I was dating somebody. So that I kept something private, that's my private life, is not any mystery to anyone. It's like a woman doesn't have the right to keep her private life private. And I'm speaking on this because there have been all these intimations.
You still haven't answered the question, Ms. Willis.
I'm sorry, what was the question, Your Honor?
Is there anyone else who knew about it? And then you can explain.
That you know of. I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think so. I certainly didn't go out telling my business.
She ain't put a motherfucking
The best of your
Fine,
recollection. You didn't inform anyone on the prosecution team that the individual that you had chosen to lead the prosecution team had a personal relationship with you.
So
Is that correct?
That's inaccurate. Your question is inaccurate.
What?
So you stated that the person I chose,
Taking to law school.
we had a personal relationship. So we had a friendship. We have all these distinguishing factors. Remember, when I chose him in November of 21, first of all, let's get this straight. Mr. Wade was not actually my first choice. That's no insult to him.
No,
It is.
No, let me finish.
Raise the question. You said when I chose him, I didn't inform people of a personal relationship. We have defined personal as romantic. It is an inaccurate way to state the question.
Then I will certainly restate it so it is very accurate.
Okay, and please do not yell at me.
Oh, I like Fanny. Fanny fine. And she giving out $600,000. Hell yeah, I like Fanny.
Correct?
2021, yes, sir.
Your testimony is, whether one accepts it or not, your
Your
testimony
testimony is
that at the time you hired
time,
Mr. Wade, there had never
there had
been
never
a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade before you hired him, correct?
Before you hired him.
Yes, my testimony is that we were very good friends, but not. Well, we're talking about sex, so let's just don't. Well,
No, I'm not talking about, I'm saying romantic relationship doesn't necessarily have to be just sex. It can be dating. it can
That's
be
a dumbass boy,
it
you
can be
stupid.
Any of those things.
Cut it
that
out.
One might.
What you think romantic is?
I'm asking you whether or not prior to November 1st,
Whether or not
21, there was a romantic
Whether-
relationship with Mr. Wade.
Whether there was a romantic
Yes
relationship.
or no?
I don't consider my relationship with him to be romantic. Before that, I'm not a handhold.
No issue.
No.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Now, let's move beyond November 1st.
Now let's move beyond November 1st.
2021,
Excuse me.
If I understand your testimony,
If I understand your
no
testimony,
romantic relationship with Mr. Wade until early in 2020.
look, I don't know what he talking about, but you're gonna have to have sex if you want to be romantic.
February
Okay.
or March, early in 2022, correct?
I would say sometime between February and April. Yes, sir.
All right. Now I'm asking you about that time period. when it
Asking you about
became
that time
romantic,
period.
Yes.
Okay?
Thank you.
Okay. You didn't see the need, if I understand, to tell any of the people on the prosecution team when you had established a romantic relationship with Mr. Wade that the lead prosecutor, that is the man that was basically giving orders to others, was dating or having a romantic relationship with you, correct?
I'm going to object to relevance.
Objection.
Your Honor.
This
Not
is now relevance.
Just to prove,
What you trying to prove?
attempting to show that there is an issue on the credibility about the
What you trying to prove? You ain't got to tell nobody your business, dog.
Anyone on her team that she was having a romantic relationship.
Why she got to tell you that?
I suggest gives rise to that inference. That's the relevance.
I'm just saying.
Inference that
The inference that they were concealing this because it was not as it's been characterized to the court, and that in fact it started earlier than what they say.
all right, overruled. Let's say, you know,
I just want to make sure that we're clear.
'Cause I like Fanny too.
At least 2020, me and Mr. Wade were friends. At
2020.
least that time period.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about.
So no, I just
No,
I'm
no.
clear because my credibility is being evaluated here, right?
Yeah.
We were friends. We hung out prior to November of 2021. In November of 2021, I hired him. I do not consider our relationship to have become romantic until early of 2022.
When he hit it.
Because I don't know a date and time.
I don't know
I'm
when he
saying
hit it.
Between February and April. Of
But between February
Very early.
and April,
2022, because I know that trip that I discussed with you was like the first week.
he put the smack down
that
on
the
me.
relationship had become romantic. I hope that answered your question, but I can't have it where, we're saying something differently.
all right. So you've established the timeline as you put it. The question originally was, at that time, did you tell any other prosecutors?
Why?
People at work who I'm dating.
All right.
Like Fanny.
Did you take any trips to DC
Uh-oh.
with Mr. Wade?
Never.
Did you take, okay, so you have no, what I would call personal trips or business trips to DC with Mr. Wade?
I never went to DC with Mr. Wade, personal, business, otherwise, never.
Okay, so
I've never been in the District of Columbia with Mr. Wade or Maryland, Virginia, the DMV as they call it.
So as I understand it, to be clear, any trips that you would have taken to see DC
That was,
would
pretty,
not,
that was a pretty clear answer.
huh?
That was a pretty clear answer. She just said no. So you have a very.
Ain't never been to
interesting
DC.
thing to bring up.
Like I said, the judge is for the judge. Quick 504, I like Fanny too. I want to see what I can get if I can make a lonely leg shake. Me too.
Period that this case or this matter was under investigation.
I'm gonna object as to relevancy to the
Hell yeah, I'm crushing on Fanny. Fanny passing out 600,000. More than the rest of these broke ass broads. Bro, she paying. You understand?
That was with Mr. Wade.
Sugar mama.
Asked her alone.
She paying.
And what would be the relevance of that?
Trying to understand whether or not we have the ability to show a personal trip in which Mr. Wade is there at the same time. I understand her answer. Okay, I understand her answer, but we have documents, we have records that.
Well, this could be something that's maybe not part of the record yet, but if he is,
It ain't part of the record.
And other things discussed in this case, and they have evidence that Mr. Wade may have been in DC.
She paying.
If you want to ask about that exact specific.
Y'all can't say nothing bad about Fani no more. She paying. She paid for a man. Shit.
Sure. And so that's
50-50, pay all the way.
Merit and impact and on credibility. So they don't ask the question.
So
I understand your testimony is you never took a trip to DC with Mr. Wade.
That's correct.
Personal or business.
That's correct.
Were you ever in DC at the same time as Mr. Wade?
I was not.
Personal or business?
Yes.
No, me and Mr. Wade have not been to DC at the same time. However, since Mr. Wade has been on this case, he's been to DC. Since Mr. Wade has been on to this case, I've been to DC. What has not happened is we have not been in the District of Columbia at the same time. Now, the only thing I'm not sure about with what you asked me is if I've been to DC personally, because I got a lot of personal friends in that area. But I know that I have been to DC. I did an interview at Howard University. I went to DC for that.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like I've been to DC one other time. Oh, I went to DC for the Global Summit. Actually, yeah, those were two separate trips.
So what's your question?
My next question is based on her opening the door, and therefore I'll just ask it, and Your Honor can decide whether or not it's appropriate.
Oh.
When you went to DC, did you go to the White House?
I did not go to the White House.
No, well,
apparently I'm going to get the answer anyhow.
There you have it.
See, this is all about them trying to figure out if she conspired with Joe Biden to try to get Trump. Remember, that's what this is about. Okay, keep listening.
Ended, you left it in August of 2023. That sound right?
That's the last time Wade
That's not a
smashed.
conversation. That's not the.
We've covered this. Next question.
And you characterized it as a tough conversation, correct?
He was breaking up.
Yes.
He hit
I'm
that.
not going to get into the conversation per
It
se.
wasn't no conversation. He was,
Well, if he doesn't want to,
baby, we can't do this no more.
Mr. State, next question.
This is gonna be the last time you get this wood, baby.
When you've got that opportunity. But all I'm going to say is was it pre-indictment in this case?
So,
We know the timeline that the indictment was delivered.
okay,
Well,
but
actually,
and so that we're
I'll give you
clear,
that.
the physical relationship ended pre-indictment.
And is that when you were talking about?
He hit it before he indicted.
I'm not sure that the tough conversation didn't happen until after, but the physical relationship. So I'm sure if he's a male, he would say we ended June or July. 'cause
Before.
physical contact ended then. Just in my mind, being a woman, it's over when you have that like hard conversation. That's
That hard conversation, baby. We can't do this no more,
The
baby.
answer, Mr. State, your question was she's not sure whether it was before or after the indictment.
I'm not sure that was her answer.
That ain't what you said.
That is what I said. That's what I said.
I'll let you. Next question, Mr. State. If you need to clarify.
Want to say one more?
Somebody type who gonna check me, boo, in the chat room.
Indictment was returned, yes or no?
To a man, yes.
To a man.
To a man, yes. To you, no.
She's explained this. Right?
She told you.
And to the
He was still hitting it from June to August.
anything to do with
He think it was over in June. He said it was over in August when the hard conversation happened.
Let's go on and have the conversation.
Damn it.
I just asked you whether or not it was a coincidence.
Had absolutely nothing to do with this. It's interesting that we're here about this money. Mr. Wade is used to women that, as he told me one time, the only thing a woman can do for him is make him a sandwich.
Oh, shit.
We would have brutal arguments about the fact that I am your equal.
Ooh.
I don't need anything from a man. A man
Ooh.
is not a plan. A man is a companion.
Whoa.
And so
Like a
there was
puppet.
tension always in our relationship.
I'm a boss bitch.
Why I was give him his money.
Give your
back.
motherfucking money back. I don't need you
to foot my bills. The only man who doesn't foot my bills completely is my daddy.
daddy. Oh, that is. Woo. Bum, 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 bum.
All right, no back and forth. Let's stay down. Next question.
My next question is something that I would has to do with what I've characterized as the church speech. I'll just tell you what the question is.
No man can't do nothing. I'm strong, independent, and don't need a man.
Thank you.
Praise God.
When you gave what I've referred to as the Martin Luther King weekend church speech, you know what I'm referring to.
A great honor of mine. That's a historic African-American church. Yes, I do.
Okay. Did you have handwritten notes with you?
No, I ain't had no goddamn handwritten notes. It's a Baptist church.
During the speech.
And on second thought, Mr. Sadal, because you might have a number of questions about this, why don't we just bullet point what you would want to cover on this reserved for the record, and then we'll move on to the next topic.
Okay.
You asking her if she got handwritten notes at the Baptist church?
Do I not get an answer?
Hell no.
That's right. Okay.
Hey,
did you read your speech?
Well, no, Mr. Sadal, for everything related.
What are you about to ask her? Because this,
we're just not. We can do it in a bullet form.
it's 20 minutes before we gonna shut this thing down. That's what the judge is telling you. You need to tell me what questions you gonna ask and get to them.
Now, so it's
I'm going to ask her about, did she prepare the speech? Did she have notes on the speech? Did she read the speech?
This is why you need black lawyers.
When did she write the speech?
Mm-mm.
Who was she
You
referring
know, there ain't
to?
nobody writing no goddamn speech to go to no goddamn Baptist church.
Who was she referring to when she said they? Who she was referring to when she spoke in terms of their, that is.
I would love to answer those questions.
Well, Ms. Willis, you could certainly do that in some other format, but for today, that's what we decided we're not going to cover.
We ain't gonna answer them dumb ass questions.
The race card and why she didn't tell the
The
people
race
at the
card.
church that she had a personal / romantic relationship with the.
We ain't gonna answer them questions, sir.
Was characterized the black man that she was referring to, and was the black man she referring to,
Sir,
was that Mr. Wade?
It's not gonna happen, sir.
Noted for the record, Mr. Sadal. Next topic. Okay.
You ain't gonna get them questions asked, sir. Move on, sir. The judge is for the judge. Somebody type, the judge is for the judge.
Records that with regard to cash payments, correct? Would your bank records reflect that you withdrew cash from your bank account?
She kept it at the house.
During the time period.
She said she keep her money at the house.
2021, 2022, or 2023. I'm not asking you, I'm just asking whether they would reflect that you withdrew cash from.
She got divorced in 2005. She keep the money at the house, man.
So the exact amounts.
No,
But yeah,
that you did.
Of course, I withdrew money throughout that time period, throughout my life. I withdrawn money from the bank. Yes, of course.
Talking about cash from, that is that you go to a bank or you go to an ATM and you take cash out.
Either that way, or you go to Publix and you overpay, or you go to another store and you overpay. So yes, both through that. Yes, of course they would reflect that at times.
Okay, and so those records, if we had them, would show that, correct?
You ain't gonna get them for this hearing.
During the course of my life, I took out money.
I was very specific. I said
Yes, during the course
2020.
of that time period, I would have taken money out. Yes,
So, do you have a problem with?
I absolutely. Yes.
You don't want the bank records to be made available for the court and the court alone.
I'm going to object this to the relevance, and this has already been addressed earlier as it relates to other records. This is an improper line of questioning. He's doing it for the purpose of harassment. Right,
I'm just going to sustain it on relevance.
Yeah, get on with the next question.
Follow up privately? You can do that.
Last area, briefly.
Ask the goddamn
You
question,
had
sir.
contact with Mr. Wade in the year 2020, correct?
Ooh, I had some contact with Mr. Wade.
Would you explain when you say some contact? Please tell us, talking about 2020.
I had some contact with Mr. Wade in 2020. One of the reasons your allegations are so preposterous, merchants that you have joined, is.
Ma'am, I didn't ask you about the.
Let me answer the question. I'm gonna answer the
Well,
question.
I ask you, okay? I appreciate that you want to say something, but I'm interested in, did you have contacts with Mr. Wade in 2020? And your answer so far has been yes, correct?
Very limited contact because Mr. Wade had a form of cancer that makes your allegations somewhat ridiculous.
And
He was
I do
sick.
appreciate the
I'm not going
characterization.
to emasculate a black man, but I'm just telling you.
I'm
that
sorry, what?
I'm not going to emasculate
Oh,
a black man.
he
You
had
understand that?
booty cancer or something. What is it called?
Mr. Sato, next question.
Next question.
Would you tell us on the occasion
He had
in
testicular
2020
cancer.
that you had contact with Mr.
I'm sorry, I thought I had answered that. Yes, sir. There were times in 2020 I had contact, but 2020 was a year I was running for office. It was a year that he was going through some serious medical issues, and I did not have much contact, but I certainly had contact with him in 2020.
Did you
It
go
wasn't-
out to eat with him?
Maybe, probably.
Did you visit him in any location, his office, or did he visit you in your office in 2020?
I am sure he, I'm sure, ooh, that's a very good question. I'm sure he came to 750 in 2020.
750 is
Was my office.
okay.
Not often, but maybe once or twice. Maybe I went to his office once or twice, but maybe once.
And the purpose for going to his office?
To do what the fuck I wanted to do. Shit.
Mellow mushrooms for pizza, or
Yeah, no.
maybe he would have come for lunch. I'm sure we went by each other's office though, but not often, not a lot. We both grinding.
Grinding. You know what I keep in the lining.
I'm not going into that. But when you were going out with him to restaurants, or when he would come to your office, right? Those were not sterile environments, were they?
Oh, very sterile because it was.
Why you cut him up?
A lot of times we wouldn't eat there. We would pick up something and go in, but they were.
I'm listening to you. You pick up and take it to where?
Maybe eat at our office, but it did not happen much. That's what I'm trying to explain to you. And my office in 2020, nobody was coming in. I was stir crazy, so I would still go into my office. You remember when I started this, I said, I am not even sure if we came to each other's offices, but I am trying to be over cautious. So I think I can recall him at 750 a couple of times. I just think I can recall him at 750 once, but let's say twice. I have seen his office. I remember all the awards in the lobby, but I'm not sure in 2020 I went. I'm not even sure I went in 2020 at all. I just want to tell you yes, because I'm not sure. But
You ain't gonna sit up here and call me a liar.
Recollection of him at 750. I actually don't have a distinct recollection of me at his office in 2020, but maybe I went to his office in 2020. Maybe.
Did you have ongoing phone conversations during 2020 with Mr. Wade?
Oh yeah, I talked to. Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yes.
No question about that.
No question. I talked.
No question.
I understood, and this is, maybe I was confused. The Belize trip was for
his 50th birthday.
His 50th birthday, and that was.
And she paid for it.
He turned 50 March 18th, 2023. If you look at the dates of the trip, I think we were there about 6 days. We stayed at 2 different locations.
And you paid for it.
100%.
I paid for it.
I paid for the hotel. I paid for the flights. I had
Boss.
a birthday luncheon for him. I paid for massages.
There we go, baby.
And would those
You won.
be reflected on your credit card?
Cash.
I paid for the cash. He paid.
I'm telling you all the different things.
I'm asking you whether or not those payments would be reflected on credit card bills.
It was his birthday, white boy.
$500 that I think is reflected on a debit card. What my recollection.
She took care of her man on his 50th.
400 or 4,000?
4,000. But I remember I handed him 2,500,
Mm.
and then the rest was just money we spent. I probably gave $300 or $400 to this guy,
Hallelujah.
taxi driver. He would drive us.
Boss
every day
chick.
around the 2 or 3 days we went.
She paid for it.
Like it was my trip.
To be clear, to end this up, The 4,000 that you've just told us.
But I didn't give it all to him. Remember, I only.
She paid for it.
I didn't ask you that. I was going to ask you that 4,000 is part of your.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cash hoard that you had collected over time.
Cash what?
Hoard, H-O-R-D-E.
Oh, I thought you said something different.
Whore. Oh, she thought you said cash whore.
Any circumstances to you or in
All
court.
right, back on track.
The hoard,
Get the judge is for the judge.
I would not classify it in that way, but I have money at my house. Yes, sir.
I got money in my house.
When you had money at your house.
Always.
Look, I'm speaking too loosely. I had money wherever I was staying. So I was not referring to my house in 750. I'm saying I had money wherever I was staying.
She keep money at her house.
That was my fault. That I wasn't.
Okay.
So when you were at what we said the Yerti condo during the time period we've always discussed, that's where you would keep your cash.
When I stayed
Wherever I was at, that's where my money was at. Okay.
All right, I want to see if we can get through a few more defense counsel possible.
Cause we got 10 minutes and we up out of here. That's what the judge is saying. Somebody say the judge is for the judge. Fani paid for her man. She paid for everything. Okay.
I'm Alan Stocks, and I don't think we've had the pleasure.
She paid for everything. Don't nobody tell you. Look, you can't say nothing bad to me about Fani no more. Fani paid for everything for her man. Okay.
Mr. Sadow asked you about going to Washington. Did you and Mr. Wade go to New York?
For his birthday.
I've gone to New York. I've gone to New York twice since I've been district attorney. I'm trying to think if it's 2 or 3 times. I went to do a domestic violence thing there for sure.
Yes.
And I was honored, and I went to the Apollo there. Those are the only 2 trips that come to mind. I went.
She went.
You also said that he was a world traveler and had been on many.
Now, let me explain. I'm trying to help y'all understand something again. At 5 o'clock Eastern time, the judge is gonna shut this down, and we about 9 minutes out. You understand me? He like, well, this is it. We ain't gonna be back here tomorrow with this.
Those are on whatever continents those are. That's where I've been. I'm sure if I gave it some thought, I would tell you. But whatever continents those are, that I've been to those locations, sir.
But not Australia or any other continents.
I don't even want to go to Australia. I do know he took a trip in December to Australia. I have no idea, you know.
I ain't going. That ain't what we want to do. They got big spiders down there. We don't want to go down there.
Mr. Wade began working with your office.
Yes.
He had 2 other gentlemen that worked in his firm with him. Is that correct?
Yes, Terrence Bradley worked for him, and Chris Campbell worked not for him. They worked with each other.
Did you understand what their partnership?
Do you understand what their partnership was?
No.
Did he ever make you aware of
Did
how
he ever-
fees were divided or anything?
How did they split the money up?
Now, since you have been district attorney,
Since.
the 2 gentlemen that worked with Mr. Wade and his firm, they also had contracts with your office. Is that correct?
Right.
Probably had 2. I don't.
We already. Well, I don't know if
We covered that.
Willis,
Let's move
but I
on.
don't know what the relevance would be of her testifying to this.
But I've had about 10 people. Oh, I'm sorry. Do you want me to answer
Let's
or
figure
no?
this out.
Move on.
Respectfully, I think
Somebody type 8 minutes in the chat room.
he had an interest in those contracts.
Sure. And then, but how is that then imputed to Ms. Willis?
Look, let me explain something to y'all. See them little ladies over there? Them little ladies up, they got to leave at 5. You understand? They got to go. They're not gonna be sitting up there afterwards with food. They got to pick their kids up. Somebody type 7 minutes in the chat room.
The foundation for that, though,
Let's see where it
respectfully, I
takes
need
us.
to.
Go ahead.
You better hurry your ass up. That's what
In
they're
Mr.
saying.
Wade's office, did they have what I think's been referred to as a taint
So
contract?
slow talking
So let me
self.
be clear, and I may get the names wrong. When I first became DA, the office was not properly staffed. And so I'm surprised any lawyer would take it, but I did a contract for like $60 an hour to help us out with first appearance. That lasted a few months. Okay.
Mhm.
So I can't remember if Bradley or Campbell had that. I'm sure we can have records and I can tell you which one, but I just can't remember now. I liked their experience. Bradley had been a probation officer and a defense attorney. Campbell had been a police officer and a defense attorney. There's a reason I'm telling you this.
She filibustered.
Then
She delayed.
that
Just get
contract,
the
like I said,
5.
didn't last long. It was just
Woo.
I was aggressively hiring. As soon as I got where I felt like I had first appearance, enough lawyers for that, I let them go. Then we had what's called a filter contract, but it was not filtered for this particular case. I do have a lawyer.
Somebody type 6 minutes in the chat room.
Election interference case. When we're talking about filter the contract they had that neither one of them has any longer, I now have another lawyer that does that for me. It was only for police brutality cases. It's for what I call the, so when I first got to be the DA, I had, the whole unit was called anti-corruption. It dealt with both elections and police brutality cases. I actually took a trip to Houston and visited the district attorney in Houston. They divided their work up, and I thought the way she was doing it was better than
Objection non-responsive.
So I made a
okay, this is a narrative answer. These look, let me tell you something.
Civil rights cases.
All of this blah, 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 blah. These idiots that work for Trump, these got to be some of the worst lawyers I've ever seen. You ask a question that you already know the answer to. You understand? You ask a question that you already, if your dumb butt is out, if the damn witness that you have under cross-examination is writing paragraphs with her mouth for the court reporter to read, you've asked a dumbass question. This woman has basically taken over this goddamn hearing. You understand
what the purpose of the filter is?
Yes, sir. So what a filter is
Answer was, you understand? Yes.
Line of duty.
Poorly asked
You are
question
not
again.
allowed as the
She is
prosecutor
whooping
to know
her
what those
ass.
statements are.
You
if they're
understand
not
me?
in the furtherance
Somebody
of
type
the
in the wood in the chat room.
And in
In
fact,
the wood.
if you know what those statements are, you're basically disqualified from the case. You can't have it anymore. So what
Now-
our policy is, I think I pay them like a $50 flat fee. They pick
That does not mean the judge is going to allow her to stay on the case. Because the mere impropriety, the public is looking at this. It just looks inappropriate. She's admitted there's been a relationship. Maybe she won't get hammered for mixing funds and stealing money or nothing like that. But the bottom line is it's inappropriate. She might get removed from the case. What she's trying to do is make sure she can save her law license. You understand what I'm saying? That's what I see
What
happening.
you find out is these statements are embedded in it. And so what your filter lawyer does is they go through it. They either redact it out electronically.
Filibuster, just blah, 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 blah. Somebody,
Once it is crossed out, then they
somebody type 4 minutes in the chat room. Blah, 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 blah. Filibuster.
Appropriately, when I became district attorney, I thought that it had only been, so Mr. Howard had some Chinese wall thing that I didn't think worked at all, where allegedly those cases were properly redacted.
Now
That
look.
ended up being a joke. And so
At 5 o'clock Eastern time, we're gonna be on overtime. And this lawyer, this judge is gonna start speeding this. He wants them to go ahead because he definitely don't want to come back tomorrow and have to ask some more questions. They probably gonna have to cut this and start again. Let's keep listening.
And Mr. Campbell.
He's gonna have to go overtime. Now he mad. Now the judge is mad. Keep going.
There have been new police cases. I do have a lawyer that is.
She won't get hammered with the funds.
That
I
doesn't
was
work
getting
for me.
hammered spending
Same kind
funds.
of deal.
Shout out to Salty
I have
Boy.
another lawyer that does filtering for this case, completely separate.
So in the same private office, you had a filter contract, then you had somebody else handling first appearances and so forth, and then you had a special prosecutor. Is that correct?
I'm just not. Ultimately, the answer to your question is yes, but I'm not sure that they did it at the same time. The first appearance contract was either $60 or $90. I don't know really how I convinced them to be able to take that, but I think because it was for such a short amount of time. And then I think I pay my filter lawyers, which I still don't know how I get away with, about $150 an hour.
2 minutes left.
Understand. The AG pays special prosecutors $1,000 an hour. So I'm a tough negotiator. Paul was paying people up to $375 an hour. I won't pay anyone more than $250 is my max. I have a lot of lawyers that for what I have that work at $250, and I cap them every month. You can't go past a certain amount of hours.
Would you agree that if Mr. Wade and the two other gentlemen that were in his firm were splitting fees in equal thirds, would you agree that he would benefit from the tank contract and also from the other first appearance contract?
I would agree he would make money. Yeah, so to make money is a benefit.
Just a thought, guy.
Mr. Durham, if you're still with us on Zoom.
No question, John.
Mr. McDougald.
You have a couple, Your Honor, but it's a little awkward from back here. You want to?
Yeah, why don't you go ahead and make your way up?
Shout out to everybody in the chat room, man. Thank you so much for the super chats and the cash apps. Very interesting case, man. So we're watching whether the judge is going to remove Fani Willis from this Trump Georgia election interference
I'm
case.
very well. How are you, Mr. McDougal? I think this is our first in-person meeting, correct?
Second.
Second, well, I apologize for not remembering you more clear.
That's quite all right. I'm referring now to exhibit number 21,
Yes, sir.
which was your financial disclosure form for 2022.
Yes, sir.
And it has a question.
Now, I'm going to tell you now,
Requires you to disclose
this dude right here, I don't know him, but I can tell by his tone,
from a
he's got some experience.
source. in the
He knows how to ask a question. He used to be taken seriously.
$100 or more. Do you see that?
I can see it.
I don't, but I believe you.
It would be on page 2 in the middle, paragraph number 3.
Yes.
And what is your understanding of a prohibited source for purposes of this form?
Now, he knows how to ask a question.
I believe there's some classification of somebody you like don't have a personal relationship with that gives you $100.
All right, if you look
somebody
under there,
Sorry.
it's subparagraph.
See how he cut it off? He didn't let her ramble on. He asked a good, concise
It defines
question.
it as someone that you know or should know is seeking to do or is doing
He's
business
slow.
with the
He's not
county,
aggressive.
correct?
No emotion.
Yes, but yes, yes.
That includes Mr. Wade as of the date you filled out this form, correct?
Yes, but he never gave me a gift of $100 or more. The only thing that I would say maybe went over that, but I don't think it ever did, is if we went to dinner and my meal was $100, but I don't think I've ever eaten $100 worth of food at a restaurant, because I would not pay him back if we went to lunch or went to dinner. But trips I paid him back for, I never thought
She's
about money
filibustering.
until y'all brought it up. And I would be less than honest that says I was giving him the money back because I was the district attorney. I didn't take gifts from him for a lot of personal reasons. Anyway, I did not take gifts from him.
And so your reason for not disclosing any gifts from Mr. Wade on exhibit number 21 is that the aggregate amount on a net basis was less than $100 in the year 2022. Is that correct?
I did not accept a gift of him of more than $100 in 2022. The one exception to that, because I want us to be clear, is we probably went out to eat.
He knows how to ask a
multiple times
question.
in the year. If you're considering eating a meal, because we went out multiple times, that probably went to the level of more than $100. But if we're doing tit for tat like that, I probably paid for as many meals as he paid for. And so I did not receive any gifts from him.
The question on the form,
I understand the
in
question.
aggregate in excess of $100.
In aggregate.
And your testimony is that you did not receive in the aggregate more than $100.
All right, Mr. McDougal, you can sit down now.
Sit your ass down.
Question, Your Honor. She answered as to specific
He's
individuals.
3 minutes over.
And you're not listening to my answer either, so we're done.
Very well.
Sit your ass down. The judge. We are over time. Somebody type the judge is for the judge. We are 3 minutes. Any of you clowns got anything else to ask? Did any one of y'all? It better be good. This the judge thing. It better be damn good.
Good afternoon.
Don't waste my damn time. It's 5:03.
A few questions here. I want to, you saw the book here.
What question has not been asked?
Correct?
Sir.
Your Honor, I would like to tender this as an exhibit, number 22.
Is that your copy?
It is.
All right, what exhibit is that going to be?
22.
Objection.
I'm making the
Hearsay objection.
evidentiary contribution here to this. Now,
Well, I guess you're tendering it. Is it with?
Your tendering means it's not actually being entered as an exhibit. But it's going to be there for the appellate court if they need it.
There's no relevance to this one.
It's objection, irrelevant.
Mr. Gill, are you using this to?
What you want the book for? Judge, you
Yes, Your Honor.
sit your old ass down.
Concerning her financial situation and laying the foundation for that, and that she gave these interviews to the authors.
The judge, sit your ass down. That's the judge.
Get this in the record after questions.
Well, we could mark it for impeachment purposes. I'm a little wary of entering an entire 300-page book.
A book?
Exactly.
Sit your old ass down.
Hearsay, irrelevance.
Hearsay, irrelevant, all that.
Be admitted as an actual evidence for the record for you to do it.
These are the goofiest lawyers I've ever met. Y'all you gotta be kidding me.
It's marked as Exhibit 22, and I'll let you.
This is why I don't practice law in state court.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now,
State court lawyers, anybody can do it.
I think
Federal court
Mrs. Merchant.
Ms. Merchant did.
is where it's at.
Questions, yes.
And you gave about 6 interviews to the authors of this?
You got about 6 interviews.
No, sir.
You didn't?
Nope.
Was it?
She answered how many interviews she gave in her opinion.
How many, in your opinion, do you believe you gave, and how long did they last?
2 to 3, maybe 20, 30 minutes.
So your testimony is at most?
Okay, so imagine it's Thanksgiving Day and you get that late and like 30 people just finished eating on a 10-pound chicken.
Anywhere between.
This he getting the scraps. This is all, it ain't nothing but the little mush stuff at the bottom of the tray. It ain't nothing else to ask her.
The title of the book, of course, is A Hard-Charging Georgia
There's nothing else to ask.
President and the plot.
Ain't no more questions to ask.
You've seen that.
Somebody type overtime in the chat room.
Again, I'm going to ask you whether or not that was the theme that they gave her when they talked with her.
It's overtime. The judge, it's time to go.
Sat down and they told her why they were there to interview her.
It is time to go.
Because it shows, but they want her to give her version of what her life story is. This is almost a life story of her.
Listen to the judge. I bet the judge jump in. Hold on, let's listen.
Thinks it's not, then
no, it could be relevant to your issue of the
forensic. The judge is talking like this. It's time to go.
Does it play when it comes to forensic misconduct?
Who is this judge? I like him.
Again, what we're here for today was the relationship and/or any financial elements of it.
Correct.
He is ready to go.
Relevant to the forensic misconduct, also relevant to personal interest in terms of the finances.
I didn't make 10 cents off that book.
Who?
Pardon me?
I didn't make 10 cents off that book.
I didn't ask whether you made any money.
Okay, I just
didn't ask whether you made any money.
Do you have any other statements that she hadn't already been confronted with by Ms. Merchant?
Well, other than I want to
sit your ass down.
When you were telling them about your financial straits and you're living kind of month to month, that is what your status was in 2018 after your election.
Mr. Gallon, we covered that at length. You just
sit your ass down. That's what he's saying.
Well, and let me move on to my point.
You got to move on quick.
That what you're telling us is that
what I'm telling you is sit your ass down. That's what the judge is about to tell you.
But really, that your testimony today is you had a cash.
It is 407.
Maybe up to $10,000 in cash where you laid your head at night so that you would dip out.
Yes.
And there would be no record of it, correct?
That's not what.
That's not what you said.
That's not at all what I'm telling you. What I'm telling you is that throughout the course of my life, I have always kept
a little money
cash in my house. That cash has ranged from times, my father would probably be ashamed.
Little pocket change. You understand? Sorry, go ahead.
This because he would say it should be more, but that cash at times has ranged from $500 to
$15,000,
maybe $9,000, and he would be like, "That is not what I told you to do." I've always had that amount of money. What I've told you is that when I travel, you do better negotiating when you travel. If you have cash, you go to get the cab. They say, "Oh, we're gonna charge you $300 for the day." Well, I got American cash. Will you take it for $150? And so it's my practice to take money when I travel. We're not talking about a whole lot of money. We're going to the Bahamas. $1,500 in cash is in my pocket, or at the most $2,500. Belize was actually probably the most money I've ever taken.
It's expensive.
And it was taken because it was a big deal. My 50th birthday sucked. His 50th birthday, it sucked. It was terrible.
That's right, baby.
And so
She took care of her man on his 50.
I'm trying to answer it.
The
I think it
narrative.
would help if we.
So let's
Good question.
move to the specific.
She knows that the judge is ready to get up out of there.
That you would keep a cash hoard in your residence up to about $9,000. Yes or no?
And throughout the course of my adult life. And so let's even be more specific than that. Probably from the time.
Your Honor, I'm only asking for yes or no rather than.
But
We have already covered this. So
We covered it.
I know you're
Get your ass down.
The filibuster is here. I'm trying to move.
That's what she doing. Somebody type filibuster.
Talking about a lot of, and so it could be 2,000, it could be 1,500, it could be 7,500. It just depends on what you're doing at that time. What I'm telling you.
Shout out to Lucifer, man. Shout out to my man.
I find that when you travel, especially to foreign countries, the American
cash
dollar as
out.
well, and it's good to have cash. You can negotiate with the taxi driver, with the jet skis, and it's not a lot of money we're talking about.
Your Honor.
Okay,
we
understood,
need
Ms.
to-
Willis.
we need
Let's
to
get
cut
to it.
off the
Let's get to a
narrative.
question, Mr. Gill.
And so you have cash in your house, but you had a lien, a tax lien on your property. Is that right?
I believe
Yes.
I had a tax lien on my property.
I might have had a tax lien, but that wasn't going to stop me from balling.
Okay, we already
So-
covered Mr. Gillen. I need new ground here.
New ground.
I'm trying to figure out how.
Sit your ass down.
Have a tax lien.
Then ask
You-
that question.
You trying to ask why that wasn't practical for her not to pay her bills
I think Ms.
and be
Martinez
going on
exactly
vacation.
That you didn't use the money to pay your tax liens.
Oh my God, how dare she not use her money to pay her tax lien and go on vacation?
No more billing. It's already built.
Move
It's
on.
the same way you pay a bill.
So just
It's
put the
just-
top on it if you need to.
It's the
Okay.
same way you owe a bill and go shopping.
Well,
Yes.
now, have you ever used, did you say earlier that you used Cash App?
They don't understand that rationale.
Robin Bryant, I use Cash App.
What is Cash App for the record?
I don't need to know that for the record. Let's keep
Oh
going.
my God. Hit the number one button, baby.
You're paying Robin with Cash App. Why aren't you paying, allegedly paying Mr.
There's no alleged here.
Why aren't you paying allegedly Mr. Wade? with
Poor
Cash
question.
App?
You should. Sit your ass down. Why aren't you asking your
I think
question?
he's told me he doesn't do Cash App.
Okay, so that's the reason why you didn't use Cash
Why
App.
are you
He's
not?
sitting next to me. I hand him the money.
Because
Why
there's a
not
record
getting
in Cash App of your making payments, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't think that I was making a record in a personal relationship.
Because when you're filing your, and I know
When you're
we're gonna
filing your income tax,
into this financial statement.
It's
here.
financial.
You asked, just a second ago about your non-disclosure.
Ask one question at a time, sir.
Of an exhibit 21.
You big
where,
dummy.
We agree that.
This is a goofball. Somebody type goofball in the chat room.
What I agree.
Somebody
with,
type
I don't
goofball in
believe
the
that
chat
these
room.
Gifts. You would like to classify these trips as gifts, but I've always paid my fair share on these trips, so I didn't not.
It's
look
not a
at
gift.
gifts.
Somebody type
I don't
goofball in the
think that
chat room
what
because this is a
is
goofball.
disclosing, and they can tell me if they mean something different. I don't think it means that if you go to dinner with somebody over the course of a year and it gets to 100, you're supposed to report it. If my understanding of that is wrong, I've probably been to lunches with a couple of people that over the course of a year, they paid, I paid.
Let me, prohibited source means.
We already went over this, Mr. Gillen. Mr. McDougal.
This is over. The judge. Somebody type the judge is for the judge in the chat room.
Next question.
I don't know why you have to. It's already, the questions have been made.
Then your 2022 disclosure form did not list any of the thousands and thousands of dollars
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
paid for on trips that you were on. Isn't that correct?
We covered that.
That's because Mr. Wade was paid that money back, or he was paid due to the fact that I bought the plane ticket or I paid for the hotel.
Woo.
There was never money that he gave me. That wasn't the nature of our relationship. You know, there's so many men.
They brought the goddamn JV team
Relationship is they're just paying a woman. The nature
to
of
the
our
championship. This is the
relationship
JV team right here.
Friendship, despite the way people would like to paint certain women, it's just not true.
Final question. And not a single solitary documentary piece of evidence.
Ask and answer. Sit your ass down.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Gill.
That's not accurate.
You done, Mr. Gill? Mr. Gill, you done.
Mr. McCullough, on behalf of Mr. Floyd.
Sit Sit your ass down.
And Mr. Cromwell on behalf of Ms. Latham.
Anything about the coming West?
Oh Lord, y'all about to piss this judge off.
Yes, sir.
In the time period between
He know he can't come to the goddamn podium. The judge don't want. The judge is ready to go.
at the Yurdi convent, did your father ever come and visit you during that time period after Yurdi convent?
He did not.
That's all I have. Thank you, Your Honor.
You better. That's all you better have.
Ms. Cross, I would imagine you have a number of topics to cover with Ms. Willis that'll take more than 10 to 15 minutes.
Cause we time to go.
Okay. And I think we've reached a stopping point.
We gonna. I told y'all overtime. Somebody type overtime is over.
Down now, and I'd, also
Yes. Scott
remind you
is like,
that,
I'm done with all y'all.
testimony Or that of any other witness.
You hear me? Scott McAfee.
And we'll begin again at 9 a.m.
We gonna start tomorrow. But this goddamn I can't keep these women up in here.
Before we recess for today, I want to check in on logistics and
Yeah, it's time to go. Okay,
I'll ask Ms. Merchant.
it's time to go. Y'all asked too many.
Once
Scott,
the testimony of Ms.
I
Willis
feel you, Scott.
concludes,
This is Scott McAfee. He been practicing law 10 years. He's on the bench. He look a lot older than what he is because he got the ball spot. But you hear me?
we can handle that now.
What do you want to talk about? Okay.
You want me to leave the courtroom?
Or you can sit at the council table. We don't change in the witness box. All right, so 2 witnesses and then querying other defense counsel.
Look at Fanny. Yeah, come on, Fanny. Walk that walk. I walk that walk. Walk that walk. I walk. She paid for it. Why she came up out of look at that. Yeah.
And then Ms. Cross.
No, you look at me.
On your behalf.
She walked that walk. Walk that walk. Young walk.
How many witnesses would you imagine?
Well, anyway, y'all seen it like I seen it. It looked to me. Now let me tell you what I'm seeing here. So basically, this whole situation, and thank y'all for dealing with me. And I'm yelling at this is me yelling at the TV. You don't ever want to go to the movies with me because I yell at the movie screen. When I'm at the movies, I'm screaming at the screen. Don't go in there. Don't do that. What's wrong with you? I'm yelling. You can't sit next to me at the movie. At home, when I'm watching TV, oh man, I'm yelling at the TV. The kids like, Dad, why are you so loud, Dad? Cause this is what I do. Anyway, hold on a minute. Long story short, baby. So they are trying to prove that she used money that she paid him for her own benefit. So they thought they had her by saying, well, he paid for the trips. And she's like, yeah, he paid for the trip, but I gave him the money back. So technically he ain't paid for it. That was a curveball. They wasn't ready for that. But see, they don't understand. Let me just say this. They don't understand Negro economics. Okay. I know my grandma used to keep a stash of money at the house. She used to have a little sock tied up with a little pin, and she used to keep it in the breast, up under the breast, the bra that she had, the old ass bra. And she always had that money up there. She'd always have a little stash of money somewhere. My granddaddy used to keep his money in the chicken coop. You see what I'm saying? So I get why her father would say something like, you always need to keep some money around here, young girl. You never know. I get it. This is not something that folk do all the time. And then the funniest part about it, they mad at her. They found it astounding that this woman would pay to go on a trip while she had a tax lien pending. Oh my God, that just goes against that goes against everything that good, sound, economic upbringing would teach you. Well, yeah, she gonna go buy that Gucci bag and she got that tax lien. Yeah, she gonna go put the down payment on that Mercedes baby Benz when she got the rent due. That's blackonomics. That's Negro economics. And they just found that outrageous. And this is why it's important to have diversity. Because see, if you have somebody like me who understands a certain culture and a certain group of people, then I would be able to ask those questions. So let me get this straight. You telling me you keep $15,000 at your house? The question was, where do you keep it? Because I might need to come over tonight. me and the fellas when you ain't there. You understand me? Where do you keep 15 G's? Where you keep it at? In your drawer? Do you have a housekeeper? How do you know they ain't stolen? Has you ever had money stolen from you about your house? These are questions. And the more you go into that line of question, the more you can challenge her credibility. But you can't challenge her credibility because you out. Oh my God, how? That's amazing. You would keep that much money. Why wouldn't you keep it in the bank? They couldn't even fathom that. You understand me? But it's interesting, baby. If y'all enjoyed this broadcast, baby, y'all hit the #1 button. We'll be back for this hot ghetto mess. I typically don't review legal cases live, but I just thought this is one that we had to review. This is funny as hell. They are trying their little darndest. The little white folk are trying their little best to wrap their little minds around this. Now, if Fani Willis was like a Fanny Finkelstein or a Fanny Fondue, they might have her understood. But Fani Willis from Inglewood, she ain't. And the judge is for the judge. Somebody type the judge is for the judge in the chat room. Somebody type the judge is for the judge in the chat room. You understand me? Because that is definitely who he is for. He is like, I'm not, y'all not gonna take me down after this. I'm not playing this game. But anyway, man, I've had a good time. You know, I've enjoyed myself, man. You know, this is the and look, at the end of the day, man, I told y'all this was coming. I don't like the fact that black folks allow themselves to be used by either one of these parties. I'm not going to ever be a political attack dog for a Democrat or a Republican. You understand what I'm saying? It happened. They fell for the trap. You see what I mean? They was going for the glory. They was trying to curry favor and such. And then now they being the fall guy for it. But you got to understand, when you're a black person and you're in a position of power, you always going to be a target. Shout out to my man Lucifer Ratzinger. Thank you so much for the super sticker and the Cash App. I ain't see you in a minute, baby. Good to see you back up in. But you're always going to be a fall guy for these folk. You understand me? And so that's what I see happening here. They're acting their fall guy. And you know, so be careful. Value yourself more than that. At the end of the day, I don't want to see Fani or Mr. Wade lose their law licenses. They work real hard to get to where they are. I know a black man and a black woman, typically in this society, you got to work twice as hard. But when you put yourself up there as a target and you make yourself the tip of the spear, and at the end of the day, this fight between Donald Trump and Joe Biden, this is white folks fighting about who's going to be in charge. It's not really going to benefit you one way or the other. I'll tell you this. The reason I'm voting for Donald Trump and I voted for him last time is solely for my taxes. But unless you're in my tax bracket, it really don't matter. Now, a lot of regular folk, people who are middle class, lower middle class, working class, you don't like the fact that these immigrants are coming up here. You just don't like the crime. You don't like stuff like that. That's something that'll make you vote Republican this time anyway. You see what I mean? But either way, I don't want y'all to become Republican. Don't jump off the Democrat plantation onto the Republican plantation. Vote your interests. You understand what I'm saying? Vote your interests. That's what I want you guys to do. Vote your interests, vote your interests, vote your interests. But yeah, other than that, man, this is a whole hot mess. They putting this lady and her gonads, and they putting Wade and his penis up on display for the world to see. But you know, she handled it very aggressively. She showed no fear. She didn't back down. She filibustered. That was her tactic. She gave him paragraphs and books you couldn't get a yes or no question out of. It was a yes with an explanation. And she killed the time. At a certain point, your opponent just gets frustrated and tired of trying to ask questions, because it's like the judge wasn't going to do nothing. You see what I mean? The judge, he's playing political games too. He's like, shit, this woman check come out the same machine that my check come out of. So, you know, I got to be cool. These are outside lawyers. These, at the end of the day, this is the district attorney. She can make my life hard. You see what I'm saying? So what do I think is going to happen? I think the judge, if he splits the baby, he's going to take her off the case because the mere impropriety that there was something suspect going on. It's too messy now. Take her off the case, reassign it to someone else, let her keep her law license, let Wade keep his law license, because at the end of the day, at least as far as he's concerned, there's still so many other proceedings to go on. But he looked like look, I'm for myself. I'm not gonna be the judge that disbarred the cause for the DA to be disbarred. I find her credible, but even in finding her credible, I think that because there's impropriety associated with this, the fact that she admitted that there was a relationship and there was an ongoing relationship, and even though she paid him back, there still was the benefit of going there. Now, it might not equate it to a gift, but the mere fact that he was able to go himself means that she could go with her man. You understand what I'm saying? She got the money, but he didn't have money. But now because she kicked him down $600,000, i.e. his partner split it up, but because he got some extra money, now she reaps the benefit associated with being able to go on a vacation with her man and have his comfort and come. She admitted how she was alone. So that's a benefit in that in itself. It might not be a monetary benefit, but it's something intangible that's meaningful. So that in itself showed that she reaped the benefit. That's the way I would do it, because the judge is for the judge. You understand me? I can see that now. He is like, oh, y'all ain't gonna get me caught up in this mess. Shit, I've been practicing. I'm 36. I'm young. I got a family. I'm not about to play this game with y'all. I don't care. Y'all gonna go home. I'm gonna be here. That's where this judge is coming from. So shout out to him. But anyway, did y'all learn? Yeah. They put the junior varsity team out there. I've never seen. I mean, this is these lawyers that they got. I mean, these are horrible. These lawyers are horrible. They don't even know how to answer questions. Anyway, man, I got to get back to my office. God bless y'all. I love y'all. As I always say at this time, this is Uncle D, and I am up, out of here. Yeah.